Hey everyone, it's Tuesday, September 1st, 2020, and you are listening to the MC Gamescast, episode 6, entitled, My Name is Ryan, but you can call me Bogey. I am one of your hosts, Mitchell Barron, and I am joined by the other host, Charlie Zarzuela. Charlie, you doing all right, my dude?
Dude, it's September. That means pumpkin spice is back, bitches. Let's do this. I'm excited. There's a brisk in the air. Let's go.
Yeah, pumpkin.
Bring it on.
Pumpkin spice is back. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's an extra window here on our little screen here. We have our first special guest. Over here above me. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest is a friend of ours for 15 plus years. Charlie, you met this man in college at the University of North Texas. Why don't you real quick explain where you met this guy, and we'll go ahead and get him introduced.
Well, we were in sports broadcasting together, and he was a fun-loving guy. We eventually got into fantasy football sports together, and I think we invited him over for a powwow one day to the apartment, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's where I met him.
So many Madden, so many dark jokes later.
So many Madden.
I think it was poker night after we did a couple of laps around Texas Stadium.
You know what? That might actually be correct. And I met him just after that at one of those shindigs. Ladies and gentlemen, Mean Green 584 here on Twitch. When he hangs out with us, WheatFat84 on Xbox. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Laster. Welcome, Ryan. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. Happy to be here and stuff.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. We've been trying to figure out when to do this, and this seemed like a good time to do it. So yes, thank you so much for being here. It's September. We are in the latter third of the year. Thank fucking God. And as Charlie said. It's pumpkin spice. Ryan, what do you do? Ryan is sitting here subbing to the
helping out, dog.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're here in September. It's video game season, for whatever that means.
I missed my emotes. Went away.
There you go. Yeah, you need the emotes. Let's talk about our weekends. I'll tell you mine. I didn't do shit. I've been taking a little sabbatical from streaming, and I used that time to kind of recharge a little bit, get some stuff done around the house, and so I did that, and it was nice. Charlie, how was your weekend?
It was good, man.
All right, fair enough.
No, it really was good. We didn't have any more birthday parties to go to, so we just kind of chillaxed a little bit, relaxed. Close is coming up, so my work is going to be
I'm already in
pretty full this week, but we're going to worry about that. I uncorked some games over the weekend and played some a little bit, and we had a good time.
Yeah, which we'll get to in just a moment. Ryan, I know that you had a long weekend. You made a day trip.
I did a day trip to Lake Jackson, which is about 45 minutes south of Houston, for unfortunately a funeral for a longtime family friend who just kind of passed away very suddenly. So
way to go, Mitch. Way to go.
He knew. He's fine.
Stepped in that bear trap, I guess. Yeah, that sucks. And yeah, you made a real quick turnaround, same day from Dallas to Houston and back. That's oof.
Yeah, we left.
But yes,
we left from Flower Mound at like 5 a.m, and I think I got home at 9 o'clock that night.
But yes, condolences to you, Ryan. That's never a fun thing, especially in these
Smithy
times.
sends his condolences also.
Yeah, Smithy fingers. Thank you so much for that, bud. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll move on from that as quickly as possible, so nobody says anything unfortunate. So let's talk about games. Let's talk about what we've played. Charlie, you and I in the last week, and Ryan, just kind of what you've been playing lately. I'll go ahead and get started because I haven't played anything Basically, since I went on my little break, I guess I just decided I don't need to play video games either. The only thing I've been playing is Fortnite Season 4 is underway as of Thursday. It's all Marvel. And the Marvel stuff is cool. You unlock Thor immediately, and you can get She-Hulk and Storm and Mystique and Doctor Doom and Iron Man. It's cool. Kind of fallen in love with that game again. It's a lot of fun. Charlie, I hope you'll get to join us very soon.
Yeah, man, with all the Marvel stuff, I want to jump in as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's the same loop. You do challenges, you unlock stuff, but it's just Marvel. So that's literally all I've played. So that's all I got. Charlie, why don't you talk to us about what you've been playing, and then we'll get to the guest.
Well, like I said, I've been corked quite a few games. I'm really, really diving headfirst into PlayStation Now, which get that right now. It's an awesome library if you have really, really good connection speeds. Starting to see little hiccups here and there. I mean, my wife, she'll jump on a Lego game, and all it will take is for me to stream something on YouTube, and all of a sudden her Lego game will kind of
start hitching
a little bit.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, for what averages about $4 a month. I'm not going to cry in my soup. So.
Sure. It does sound like it does need the perfect connection to be perfect. Yeah. But I mean, if it's only a little hitch, here and there,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and my PlayStation is pretty much hardwired right into my router, so I'm not going to improve it any better unless I contact my provider and say, "Hey, give me more bandwidth." So
yeah. What else?
Yeah, regarding PlayStation Now, with the impending release of its sequel, I dumped my dumbass into Spelunky for the first time ever.
Hell yeah!
And I'm saying that because I am dumb. It's been out since 2008, and gosh, it's a really, really good game. Really, really fun game. Really, really hard game. Oh my gosh, it's your roguelike game. Stages change consistently. It's slippery. And when I say that, like, oh my God, you go from a walk, literally, to as soon as you hit the right bumper, you go to a full sprint. And there is no stopping on a dime in that game. There's a lot of pitfalls, a lot of obstacles, a lot of traps that will literally just tear you asunder. Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. I've only really dove in about a couple of levels. I'm really, when it comes to games like that, I like to just attack full bore rather than tiptoe my way across the game. So I've died a lot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize there was a timing component in that thing because I was searching through a level and all of a sudden everything goes wonky and there's all this kind of this weird ass creepy ghost.
Yeah.
Something out of PT comes out of nowhere and I'm like, gotta go.
Don't touch the ghost.
Yeah. So it pretty much killed me. But no, that game's a lot of fun. I really, really want to dive back into it because of the sequel that's going to be coming out soon. So it's old Nintendo hard.
Yeah, but what I like about that is it's not in that old Nintendo hard where it's unnecessary how hard it is. It's Correct. just that really good, difficult, precise platforming. And yeah, I it's been a while since I've played it, but man, that game is really, really good, and I can't wait to I can't wait for Spelunky 2. I'm gonna get in on that. Why don't you talk about the other game that you played on PlayStation Now that it seems like lately is the toast of the town?
Oh, you and my brother, I swear.
That's for you, Josh.
So yeah, thanks to Joe Shizzle. Follow Joe Shizzle at Joe Shizzle at 2323 at pretty much everything, YouTube, Twitch, etc., etc. He's been playing I Am Bread, and that is on the PlayStation Now library. And I played it a long time ago. I really, really just dabbled into it just a little bit. I went back into it because he's back into it, and boy, I forgot how much fun it can be to be a slice of bread to try to get toasted. It can be frustrating at times. Basically, it's an action-adventure game. You're a slice of bread, The main mode of the game is to turn your bread into toast, and you're navigating through random three-dimensional settings. You're in a bedroom, you're in a living room, a kitchen. It looks easy at first. So all you have to do is, hey, just go to the toaster, right? But so you're using the analog stick, and there's a lot of physics components into it. You're using the buttons as like handholds, basically. And so basically, if you want to like cling onto the wall, climb something, it's a lot of what are you doing? Oh my god! Right.
My dog was behind me most of the time on big screen. I'm trying to readjust.
I'm sorry.
Not working out.
I got distracted by your crotch. Thank you, buddy.
What the hell's going on?
Enjoy it.
Oh, that was awesome. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, no, the game's a lot of fun. You get to be like a bagel. You can be a bagel. You can race through checkpoints. You could be the stalest baguette known to man and try to destroy everything inside, a living space. It's got the dollar store 8-shot glasses or whatever that just break. A gust of wind would like break those things. There's a cracker mode, which you can try to get cheese, and there's also a zero grav mode, which they actually put in little boosters rockets on the little piece of bread, and you zoom your way through a zero gravity room, and it's difficult, but it's a lot of fun. So.
I'm sorry. That was so funny. All right, you've got one more game on your list here, Charlie. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of some old school stuff here, little old school sports.
Well, I mean, when I say old school, it's not that old. What?
Oh, I've got issues over here.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Uh-oh. All right, go ahead, Charlie.
Houston, we have a problem. Anyway, so I went back and I started playing NCAA 14 because I think that's going to be my next feature with all the college football brouhaha coming up. That last installment, I love it. It's awesome. I heard it got mixed reviews when it came out because it was basically 13 with a shiny slap of paint put on it a little bit. I love the modes that are in it, but again, that was found in 13 as well. It did pretty well, though. It sold 1 million copies. And, I guess for being the last copy of NCAA football, if you want that type of brand of football, it's a good game to go back to. It's hard to find on the shelves nowadays, from my understanding. And it's not backwards compatible. You can't play it on the PS4 or the Xbox One or Xbox One X. So
Right. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, geez. We're just having a grand old time here.
It's a good time. It's been a long time since I played one of those games, and the controls for that year, you can do so much stuff. You can customize so many things, and it can seem overwhelming at first, but there's actually a cool little training featurette in it that like basically gives you the NCAA 14 101 to the game, which, to be honest, I went back after that little routine after beating Walking Dead and basically eking out a 3-point victory. I was like, no, I need to learn how to do all these things. Like, I wanted to scramble. I couldn't. I didn't know how. I didn't know what buttons were. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of like, monkey wrenching my way through that game. And finally, I was like, okay, screw this. So I went back and I taught myself, the pre-snap adjustments to make, the hot routes to perform. And, I hope, that actually leads into, my performance in the upcoming streams. So it's good. It's a fun game. It looks really good. Like,
Yeah, that I was actually,
to be honest.
Yeah, I was actually taken aback a little bit how good that game still looks. And it's funny, so right now, since we have to vamp a little bit, so let's extend this. So Charlie, that about 3-4 years ago, I went through a phase where I was buying games in bulk and selling games on eBay, make a little extra money on the side, and make some cash. And now my side gig is this thing. But I was, you would buy these lots of games on eBay or wherever, and sometimes you would just get these boxes of loose disc which included sports games galore. And, I still have a lot of that stuff. So I went through that big old box of stuff hoping to find a copy of that. Well, even back then, the NCAA 14 was rare. Not as rare as it is now and how much people want to play it, but it was still there. So I actually did not have a copy. Yeah. Now, I've got about 100 copies of Madden 2005 for PlayStation 2 if you want it.
Who's on there?
Is 2005 the Ray Lewis one?
Oh, yeah. That's actually one of the highest rated Maddens, I think.
Yeah, that's Michael Vick was 04.
Yeah.
And then Ray Lewis was 05. So, but yeah, if you wanna buy NCAA 2014 now, you got to go on eBay and spend anywhere from $70 to $100. But yeah, watching you play it 8 minutes behind what you were actually playing in the chat.
That's what happens when you change things on the fly.
You must have just had some connection thing, or just a slowdown in connection, because that's what that was. That didn't have anything to do with the games. It's just your connection just went out of whack. But yeah, that game looked really good, and I had forgotten that at that point they had taken Lee Corso out.
Yeah, it was. It's Brad Nessler and
Herb Street because obviously in the PS2 era it was all three of them, but they took Lee Corso out because I want to say that was post stroke for him.
Probably. I don't know. He is a fixture in college football, but he is now at a stage of his career where he should be a little more limited.
Yeah, or just
less is more,
or just not there. I mean, it was kind of like when
he could be a figurehead, kind of like Madden is still to this day, kind of in name, but just
wheel him out to do the mascot thing.
They could Weekend at Bernie's him well after that, because they could just leave the mask on him and animatronic his hand.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of how they kept rolling out Dick Clark for the New Year's Eve thing after he had his stroke. It was like, oh, come on, don't. It's Dick Clark. I don't need to know. I don't need to remember him like this, because Lee Corso was great on game day.
Sure.
Everybody loved Corso. Everybody loved it when he would do the picks and he'd put the mascot hat on. And now it's just not it's not even a joking thing. It's sad, and it's just it feels like ESPN should kind of make that executive decision, be like, this is wrong that we keep throwing him out there.
Sure. And I haven't watched the game day, obviously. I mean, I watched a little bit last year. We'll see what they have to show for this year whenever that kicks off.
You mean when only half of college football is playing? I don't know how. How do you crown a champion?
Hey, somehow Ohio State is still number 2 in the AP Power Rankings. So,
well,
and they're not going to play football this year,
right? Well,
I want to know though, if Clemson somehow loses their first game, will they bump up Ohio State to number 1, even though they'll still be at 0-0 for the duration of the year?
Is the ACC playing? Is that one of them that they are playing? So it's them, the
Big
SEC,
10 and the Pac-12 are not.
Okay, so it's the SEC, Big 12, and ACC. Alabama's going to screw around and win another title because of it. Ugh. It's just So as we continue to vamp, let's. I
did play another game.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, and I'll talk about one other thing after that.
I actually suggested to one of our new followers. I don't know if she's on tonight, but Beautiful Katamari.
Oh yeah!
Katamari Forever is on PlayStation now, and that game is You know how Thumper is one of those games where you're just like, man, like someone had to be doing drugs. Well, that drug is like speed and crank and heroin is
Yeah.
back. Good. Katamari Forever is more like watching a Beatles video doing some majorly good weed. It's just a good time.
Yeah.
And you're just rolling around collecting crap. I mean, there are objectives in the game which are really, really fun and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's just a chill game. And if you love Japanese art and culture and
Yeah.
goofiness,
What's
that's it on
what's the guy, the king of the cosmos? That's the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
you're the
Katamari is
king
great.
and you're the little prince, the little
Yeah.
pill thing rolling around a ball. collecting stuff.
Katamari's awesome. One other thing I did do on Fridays, I did that marbles on stream.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yes. Oh yeah. That was fun.
And that I thought that was a ton of fun. Just it's a very chill. For me as the streamer, I don't have to, I don't have to play games. I don't have to play a game or anything. I'm just kind of doing commentary, having fun, and chatting with everybody. And I thought that was a good time. Like I had a really good time. I know Charlie, you and I kind of talked a little bit about it on text. That you enjoyed it. Ryan, did you enjoy the marbles thing?
Yeah, that was pretty neat. A little low impact. You could still have fun and chat and just kind of chill.
And
Pick your bad song.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
another.
My songs were awesome.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, I
another.
thought my songs are great.
Oh, I thought it was all great. Yeah, because I did a thing on the stream, and we'll do this again when we do it again, probably this Friday. For every match, whoever wins got to pick the next song that I played on the stream. And man, there were some really good, some really bad good songs played. That it was really fun. And yeah, Ryan, I think you used the right term, low impact of just hanging out and just having a good time with your friends, your new friends, your old friends. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I did that, and I'll probably do that again this Friday. So check it out. Now let's get to Ryan. Ryan, why don't you talk about stuff you've been playing? You could save the new game for last if you've been playing other stuff.
Let's see. Mostly the same stuff you've been playing.
Yeah.
Fortnite, Rocket League. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Not a ton of time for new stuff. I'm monitoring online school and teaching a 4-year-old how to read, and so
same here.
Yeah. So there's not a ton.
They have the 2020 version of Math Blaster.
Math Blaster.
I mean, there's a website that they use. It's called Imagine Math. So that's
okay.
It used to be games, and now it's boring.
You need to
get my 8-year-old tells me.
You need to, when your kids start really doing typing, you should get Mario Teaches Typing.
Nice.
Or what's the zombie one? The Sega one? Typing of the Dead. Typing of the Dead.
Typing of the Dead. Yeah, I was gonna say
That's appropriate for.
You want to learn how to type.
I learned on some program that you're kind of driving and the words would pop up on the road or whatever, and if you didn't type it in time, you'd get in an accident or some such nonsense.
Yeah.
Wow. Hello, 7th grade.
Thing
like that.
The thing that I love about playing Rocket League with Ryan is that he plays that game the complete opposite of the way that you should play that game, but he somehow got good at it. See, in Rocket League, there's 2 cameras. There's your regular cam where the camera stays behind you at all times, and then there's ball cam where it follows the ball. Well, pretty much everybody plays ball cam. And
not this guy.
Ryan started playing the game in regular cam and basically got used to that so much that he couldn't go back to the old way. And so he plays in the other camera, and at first he was awful. Like just bad. And a lot of it had to do with the playing in that cam. But then he all of a sudden got good at it, and he's like on the brink of gold rank, and it goes against everything I know about Rocket League, but it is really, really funny. All right, Ryan, talk about we're here. The reason why we brought you on, ladies and gentlemen, the start of the fall gaming releases. Madden 21 is out. And Ryan, our Madden reporter, has been playing a little bit of it. My first question for you, Ryan, is this game Madden 17, 18, 19, and 20 with roster updates?
Yes and no. In terms of franchise mode and stuff like that, they've kind of stuck with the tried and true whatever. If it is broke, we won't fix it anyway. Ultimate Team is still going to be their bread and butter, where they'll get people to spend hundreds to thousands of dollars just to build their roster, because that's where all the tournament and league play. The tournament and league play comes in Ultimate Team when you see the esports on Madden.
Are you saying that you've heard of a thing called esports?
Esports, that's right.
It's fun.
And they did add something kind of cool this year that I think they did on FIFA last year, just kind of a little playground feel, a backyard football kind of thing, where you can kind of trick up the way you're dressed, build up different prototypes, and kind of pick your squad and play 3-on-3 online. And I mean, it's pretty neat so far. I've only really gotten to get into it for 20-30 minutes just because of the way my weekend shaped out. So I picked it up on Friday, and then I was gone all day Saturday, and then kind of groggy most of the day Sunday.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So I played a little last night, a little today.
Let me ask you a couple questions about it. So let's go to the playground thing. How arcadey is the playground?
It's for the most part, it plays like regular Madden. I mean, you've got little trick plays where you only have one pass rusher, one blocker if you so choose. You have to throw the ball within 4 seconds, but you can do back passes and laterals and double passes and all that kind of stuff. So it's got a bit of an arcade feel to it, but it's not quite the level of like NFL Street or even when they did Madden Arcade.
Right.
How many ever go years that was.
That's a shame. I was hoping that it was going to be a lot more like NFL Street.
It's a lot of fun, and it's a step in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first heard about this mode, I just assumed they were just going to shoehorn in a dumbed down version of NFL Street to where you could kind of build out things and run on the walls and, get power ups and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's not quite to that level, but it's more fun than just a standard 11-on-11 jump in and plays the Cowboys versus the Washington Football Club.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay.
Oh, they updated that, right?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah,
there was a day one patch for digital not digital versions, but the disc versions to replace the Redskins with Washington Football Team. Okay.
It's just a yellow circle with a maroon W inside it, and it's the funniest thing ever. It's like if you created a college team on old NCAA football, and that's the logo you got. But,
that's awesome. Okay, so let me ask you this about franchise mode, because you said that franchise mode hasn't changed. You would think at some point they're going to upgrade. They're going to rebuild franchise mode. You would hope. So
they still have it, and I know teasing ahead, I can kind of. To the mailbag, I don't want to get too far into what I'm thinking right now, but years past, everything was all kind of simplified, and you could just do everything all at once. And now it's like if you want to be an owner, you have to do that. If you want to be a coach, you have to run an entire thing that way. So you can't really get the all-encompassing feel of what you want to do. And that's been the last 5 or 6 years.
So my question would be, what would you like to see franchise mode look like? Like what changes or upgrades would you like to see them do to make it? I mean, I guess more than anything, different and feel fresh. I'm not sure what else they could do.
They make it entirely too easy to trade for not superstars. You're not going to be able to trade garbage and get like Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, guys like that. But if you need a really good offensive lineman upgrade, you can just kind of throw a couple of backup wide receivers and a draft pick at somebody and get you a 94 overall 24-year-old offensive guard. And it's just little things like that they just make it's stupid. They don't rate players as evenly across the board.
Right.
It's, offensive linemen are way too easy to find and build and trade for, and quarterbacks are virtually impossible, and just balancing, I guess, in future rosters, drafting and stuff like that. That's been terrible ever since, because I guess I'd have to say 7 years.
Yeah.
Because you could load in a draft class from another game that no longer is out there.
Yeah.
But
so you may not have gotten far enough into it to know. Is the salary cap stuff still broken like it was last year?
I don't know yet. Yeah, because I remember talking to you about that in 20, where you could just be as far over the salary cap as you wanted, or you could put somebody on a franchise tag and you'd be 40 million over the cap, and the game would be like, all right, that's cool. And they wouldn't make you make the roster adjustments to go through and get yourself back under the cap. So basically, there's just kind of loopholes. But
final question: how many times are you going to get Bill O'Brien fired?
Well, this year I've decided just to get rid of him before I even start the thing. So I just create a new coach. So I get to fire Bill O'Brien before the season starts. But so that's been good. Last year, I think I wound up firing him 6 or 7 times. I would just simulate a season and say bye.
Yeah.
And that was great.
All right.
But
Charlie, what you got?
Hey, I'm still here. The gameplay. I've seen what it looks like. How does it feel?
Feels like Madden.
Yeah.
They haven't changed a lot. Every year there's different things where you have to go in and tweak how you do things. I think last year you could go real heavy on stretch runs because those were, as they say, OP. Yeah. And the blockers would be better than the defenders. And if you wanted to, you could just stretch run an entire game and run for 300 yards, which I may or may not have done 12 or 13 times. But, and so I'm still trying to figure out this year kind of, like I said, I've only gotten to play it for maybe an hour since I picked it up. But it's a different thing every year in terms of which playbook is better than others and what defenses you need to run and how to level off your AI characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, that leads me to my next question, is that sometimes with Madden, you've got this weird pendulum where it will swing one way completely offensive, and then the scores are being racked up way too much. Let's crank up the defense on this time. Which one is it going toward this year? I'm trying to remember.
I think since they implemented their superstar,
because they got a lot more emphasis on
factors.
The superstar stuff. Yeah,
because Patrick Mahomes has one. I think if you complete 6 passes in a row that are more than 10 yards, you unlock an Omaha ability where you can just hold it down and see what defensive
Manning
play
vision.
The defense. Yeah, pretty much. Or you can just kind of open it up and be like, oh, they're in a cover 2, so I'm going to let Tyreek Hill just run a slant right underneath that zone. Just little stuff like that. And so it feels like they're trending more towards offense, giving you a little bit more ability to plan ahead and see, because the defense has some guys on pass rush and in the secondary, but it's slanted a little bit more towards the passing game for sure.
Okay, with the players' ratings and rankings, I know that's a huge big deal that comes out every year, and as soon as the Madden ratings come out, the players come out of the woodwork saying, why am I not a 99, or why am I not this or that or whatever. Do those ratings, are they showcased accurately? Or is there a Troy Hambrick bullshit mode in this game?
I knew it! I knew he was going there. I love it.
In this game that, some team can placate, I'm trying to think of a dumbass running back in this game that can make it just come completely out of nowhere and
David
be
Montgomery.
The next Walter Payton.
Yeah,
him.
Hi, Chris.
I was going there.
There's other things about the game. If you'll watch YouTube play and stuff like that, it all hinges on speed. Like all the other things tend to be not as important, because I've seen YouTubers they'll plug in a 55 overall wide receiver that just happens to be a 96 speed with 97 acceleration, and then he'll just toast whoever and be wide open. And so this 55 overall wide receiver will have, 200 receiving yards and a couple of touchdowns just because that's the way the
Terrence
game
Copper will
is
be the next
set up.
Jerry Rice.
Terrence Copper.
Well, but,
I love
We
it.
want Sam Hurd.
but yeah, it's
Devin Hester.
geared more towards speed, but I haven't looked at too many running backs yet in terms of. I'm sure if I play it right, David Johnson can rush for 2,000 yards because injuries aren't typically a huge factor in Madden. Because somehow Will Fuller always stays healthy for an entire season.
Are there
in
legacy
years past? In
legacy
Ultimate,
players, like for your instance, can you play as like Arian Foster or Matt Schaub or something like that?
Nah, they're not going to be good enough, but they do. They'll add in.
Arian Foster, really?
Probably not for their legacy thing. What they do is on the Ultimate Team and in the mode they added last year, the Superstar KO, where you can get like legendary Hall of Fame guys. You can get Ray Lewis, Night Train Lane, Mel Blount, guys like that can pop up on your team.
Okay.
Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, as you mentioned earlier. I mean, they've got guys like
Troy
that you can
Hambrick.
get on your Ultimate. No Troy Hambrick.
Drew Pearson gets snubbed out of this list too.
Probably.
Unfortunately, I've never seen Drew Pearson in Madden recently, but
put him in the Hall of Fame.
But yeah, guys like that you can get on your Ultimate Team or draft in the TKO or the Superstar KO.
Sure.
But nothing that you can import into a franchise mode or whatever.
Sure.
This will be my last question. Regarding the campaign, how interested are you in diving into that? Because I know that they started that about 4 years ago with 17 or 18, and it was a resounding success. And it seems like every year that's come out, it's hard to think of stories that capture, the casual fan to like say, hey, I don't want to play the Ultimate Madden team. I want to check this content out. Is that something that you're looking into this year?
The first two, I think they started that with 18.
Brady, that was Brady. Right?
Yeah, Brady was on the cover.
18. It was the
what was it called? Long Shot, where it was kind of set up like a TV show. Where I thought that was good. It was in depth and there was a story and all that kind of stuff. And then
the last 20 I played.
Last year they kind of had a sequel to it in 19, and then last year they just called it Face of the Franchise, where you got to play 2 college games and do the combine and then determine where you're drafted, and then from there you just kind of played an NFL career. Like you'd be able to build your superstar up and kind of do challenges here and there, and determine if you wanted to leave somewhere as a free agent or demand a trade or when you retired. But this year I haven't dug in too much, and I will, but reading some of the reviews, it's kind of a flashback thing, so it's all predetermined as to when you get to play and what you do and stuff like that.
Like wrestling. Like wrestling.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a flashback where the guy comes in and he's doing an interview, just kind of a retrospective on his career, and then you'll go back and play some of the highlights and then go. And so I haven't dug into it too much, but other than watching a couple of videos, I've been kind of playing around more in the new yard thing. Which, speaking of, if anybody here decided to get Madden on Xbox, I need friends in the yard, so hit me up.
Wheat Fat.
There you go.
Wheat Fat 84 on Xbox. Hit him up.
Yep.
Charlie, you got any more questions for Ryan on Madden?
No, man. The Troy Hambrick one was the big one.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I was hoping you were going to do that. Ryan, you got anything else about Madden or any other games?
No.
Well, all right then. Then we will go ahead and move on. And the next segment, of course, is the news. And we don't have a lot of other news besides the big one, which Charlie will get into here in just a moment. I've got a couple little Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot from the Gamescom opening night. We'll get to that in a second. Let's excuse me. Let's get to the quick hits. Couple of Fall Guys things. The charity drive that Fall Guys was doing for a skin from famous streamers and such ended finally at $1 million with a group of people that included Ninja in G2 Sports. So $1 million to charity,
awesome.
which is really cool. That's
Of course, a Ninja would do it.
yeah, and then Ninja announced that they're going to do a big charity drive, kind of in conjunction with the Fall Guys thing, and so that's really cool. That's a neat thing they're doing, and I'm interested to see what that Ninja skin's going to end up looking like.
Did you see the shot of the I guess the developers room when they got the Ninja donation?
I did not. I
They're
wanted.
all like jumping for joy over their laptops.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's
I'll
funny.
have to. Yeah, and it came at the very last minute because up until the very last minute, a YouTube channel called FGTV, which is a kids video game channel that my kids watch. It's fine. You know, it's wholesome.
Fine.
It is. It's fine. Trust me, when it comes to kids video game channels on YouTube, fine is like Super Mario World. But they had a bid of like 500,000, and up until the very last second, it looked like it was going to be them. And then Ninja and G2 Sports slipped in at the very last minute and bid that $1 million. So very cool. So the other Fall Guys thing, it's not necessarily news, but it's something that I witnessed over the weekend. So on Saturday, I was thumbing around Twitter, as I'll always do, because I have nothing better to do, apparently. The Fall Guys Twitter put out a tweet saying that they wanted to raid a small streamer playing Fall Guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started taking a bunch of recommendations from the chat. Well, about 5-10 minutes later, they tweeted out this guy. His name is T_Blott, BLATT, and it's Blott.
Blott?
Yes, I know this because I also followed the people to this guy's stream. Well,
Blott.
so all of a sudden, this guy who had like 120 followers and averaged like 5, 6, 7 people, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 3,500 people show up.
That's rad.
And it was the most awesome thing. This guy was losing his mind.
I'll be so nervous.
I mean, so nervous. Well, here's the thing. So he's playing Fall Guys when all these people start to show up. I mean, it goes from 5 to 500 to 1,000 to 3,000 in the matter of a minute or two. The dude wins the game he's in.
Oh my god.
He gets a crown. And people start following and subbing and just making, just going crazy. And this guy is just, he can't believe it. It was
That's awesome.
And then on top of that, he's like the nicest dude ever.
Good.
Super humble, really nice, really funny. He does family friendly streams because he lets his little nephew watch, so he doesn't curse or anything. And
Where's he from again?
He's from Florida. Ryan, stop it. He's from Florida.
Oh, yeah.
He used to work. He used to work at Disney World, and he got laid off. And so he's he's streaming and he's just having a good time with it. Well, all of a sudden he's got 3,000 people watching this thing that basically he was doing for his nephew. And it was really cool. He was so jazzed by it. He ended up doing a 24-hour stream. I went to bed. I woke up and was like, let's go check in on Twitch. And he was still going. It was really cool. And like I said, he's a super nice guy. So shout out to T_Blott. You should check it out. He's really nice. And it was a really cool thing to see. And it, as Charlie, myself and Josh in a lot of others. We're all small streamers, so it's really cool to see that kind of thing happen. Not necessarily from the, oh, it's going to happen to me or whatever, but it's really cool to see someone react honestly like that kid did. And so it was really cool. So shout out to that guy. That was really neat. And then one other bit of news, and then we'll get into the big part. The PS5 is going to only be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, not PS3, not PS2, and that's according to Ubisoft. That's weird that they were the ones that said that that's what's happening, but that's what's apparently happening.
Third-party developers drive the ship, I guess. I don't know.
And
Sega CD.
Sega CD. Yeah. So I don't know how important the general population feels backwards compatibility matters. I mean, does it matter for you, Charlie? Like, is that something that you not even necessarily need, but really would like?
I mean, initially that might be important just because of the fact that when the consoles launch, you're going to be limited in scope regarding what games you'd like to play. Perhaps you want to play a current game that's on the PS4 or whatever. You just haven't gotten it yet. God, PS3 is so far removed though, and that's many
what I mean.
Like the right games have moved on from the PS3 and were remastered to the PS4.
Yeah.
So I imagine that those like classics will still continue and be accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters anymore, to be honest. And
I mean, the previous console, I think that's important because
it's all about moving forward.
But I don't play. I mean, even at this point, I don't play a lot of 360 games anymore. Every now and then, I might fire one up just to. Ryan, I mean, do you care that much about backwards compatibility?
Not particularly, but I'm always a couple of years behind on new consoles anyway, so by the time I get around to getting one, I've played through whatever I cared to play through on the previous generation, so it's just kind of. But I mean, it's been nice a couple of times, like you and I were able to fire up Mass Effect 3 on the Xbox One before yours had pennies in it. And just, I mean, being able to go back and do like Battlefield 1943, just some of those older generation games. It's been nice to be able to fire those up. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Well,
if that's not an option.
Yeah, and because like Microsoft is going really, really headfirst into you can play any game, pretty much any game in the Xbox library from Xbox, the original Xbox, all the way through. And like for Xbox One games, that's cool, but I don't know if that Microsoft seems to think it's important. I wonder how important it is to the general person, and I don't know if that's the case.
I think a lot of that would be it'd be cool if you can go back and play a game, but on some of those, it's going to depend on if servers are still supported and stuff like that. Because you may want to say, hey, I want to play Halo online with my friends, but if some of those old Halo games aren't supported, then whatever. Well, if you're going to go play.
We ran into it with 1943 the other day. There was nobody was playing those games.
Or Bad Company when we tried that.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Did y'all see there's a new Left 4 Dead map?
I did. Actually, Charlie, I meant to put that in the news, but they're still making Left 4 Dead 2.
I was like, I gotta sneak this in.
No, do it. Yeah. I mean, is there any information on that, Charlie, aside from they're doing a map? Or doing a little upgrade.
It's a brand new map, and that it's being supported by the fans, and yes, man, it's awesome.
You know what?
I saw the little teaser trailer that came out. I was like, guys, we gotta come on.
I wonder if this is the test balloon. What if this is the test balloon? Like it sells well, and then they're like, let's make Left 4 Dead 3.
Like this, man.
Oh, that'd be. This
would be almost up there with like, hey, we're gonna fix Mass Effect.
They killed Mass Effect. But anyway, all right. So that's all for the regular news. Charlie, we had Gamescom over the weekend, and they did a big blowout. You watched it. I watched it after you, but you took some notes down. So why don't you lead us through some of the highlights of Gamescom?
So yeah, I took a bullet point list pretty much of the games that were being showcased at Gamescom. First of all, the opening night live review. I'm just going to give like a bare bones review of what it was. There was no real shock and awe drops, to say the least. But this is about, existing knowledge out in the wild, and it just kind of elaborate a lot on that stuff. I mean, to be honest, the show was really, really mixed bag. It went from okay to cool to like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was underwhelming with very high highs.
And I get it. It's very limited. Like, I'm giving this show a mulligan because, to be honest, with COVID and with what had originally been planned, this thing was probably put together with duct tape and peanut butter. They did as well as they could with what they had at their disposal. So
the presentation was good for what they had to work with. Jeff Keighley's great.
Yes, I love the presenter. He was awesome. The awards thing was kind of weird. Yeah. I didn't understand that at all. It was like it was shoehorned in there. Whatever. I didn't care about that. I cared about what I wanted to see, what was being released. I was kind of disappointed with the fact that they weren't releasing anything regarding like price points, but I didn't expect that to happen. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you were there to pretty much see a few things, like, and the first one was the Call of Duty Cold War details. They freaking have Ronald Reagan in that son of a bitch.
I don't.
And I can't tell if I like that.
I don't. He doesn't.
He should be talking to his mommy.
Yeah, he doesn't. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. He doesn't look right. He looks weird.
Well, he looks kind of. Again, we're a little far removed from 1980 Ronald Reagan.
Sure. What if they made him look like he does now?
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. But, he is what he is. Everyone there looks like Brad Pitt from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Everyone there looks like that.
I swear to God, I thought the guy sitting next to him was Robert Redford. I thought it was Redford.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone there looks like Robert Redford.
I had to look it up.
That's just the style. I get it. It's awesome. If you've seen The Americans, great FX show. I really hope this goes up that alley regarding like Russian espionage. Like, you're obviously going to be playing as like the American side of this Cold War, but I would love to see them throw some tricks and, fun things in this that, shake things up rather than just a straight, we're the good guys versus the bad guys, period. So
I wouldn't hold my breath. It's Call of Duty. It looks cool. Again, it was a trailer. It's hard to take anything from it. I want to see the multiplayer reveal here in a couple weeks. That's what I'm more interested in, especially if they're going to do another version of the Warzone. But yeah, it's Call of Duty. That's what that is.
Right. It is Call of Duty.
What's next?
Up, again, I'm not doing these in chronological order. They obviously waited. So they did Call of Duty first. They waited to do this one damn near the end of it, which I was kind of miffed about because I'm like, okay, I get that you want me to watch a lot of this content, but come on, I'm here to see what the Fall Guys Season 2 stuff is all about.
Yes.
And that was awesome, what I saw. They have new rounds. Looks like they're going to go with the medieval motif, more costumes. Everyone loves the costumes that are coming out with them. Mm-hmm. Josh, I really wish they would do the guns and vehicles thing. It looks like it's a lot more collab centric.
Yeah.
So it's less of a which means that they're going to they should emphasize a lot more toward the team, putting your teams together. Because right now that's kind of an issue with putting team games in there, trying to find your characters when you've finished versus, hey, where's all my other characters at? So where are all my other friends? So
if you think it's bad on PS4, on PC they don't have names. They're only Fall Guy number
oh my
1200.
gosh,
It's
yeah,
even
it's just
worse.
like, hey, I'm just like the hot dog with a raven's tail, and I'm
Oh wait,
I,
everybody
I
is.
look like a chocolate chip mint. Yeah. So there was that. Fall Guys season 2. Can't
Exciting.
wait for that to
Yeah.
eventually make its way to all the ports out there. Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. That sucker looks really good, really good. It looks like it showcases the PS5 really, really well. It's a very, very seamless in um, transitioning. I know like a lot of people who were enamored by like the transitioning in like God of War, where they would go from a dialogue straight into battle without there to be any like cut scene or actually a break in the cutscene. Let me say that. It looks really really good. This is one of my sins, and I've actually been looking through the PlayStation Now library to see if I can play a decent Ratchet and Clank game. I heard that they're not all created equal. Some are really good, some are really really bad. So
The
you know,
remake they did on PS4 a couple years ago is supposed to be fantastic.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one that
So
everybody says to play.
that one looks really really good. Next up, BioWare had this weird little announcement. So they kind of did some weird segments where you would see the creators, and honestly like it was more like, hey, what are we doing in behind the scenes or whatever, and hey, I'm drawing this piece here, and I'm the artist, and I'm the voice actor, and it was kind of cool, I guess, to see it from that perspective. But I guess that is something that you're like reserved for like the extras part of like a Blu-ray disc or something like that.
Yeah, it was weird.
I do like to see the people behind the scenes, because there are people putting a lot of hours, a lot of hard work into these games, regardless of like whether we think they are the best game this generation, or come back another time with a better sequel or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's a Dragon Age tease coming out.
I
I haven't
thought
played a Dragon Age game in a long time, and apparently with the Dragon Age Inquisition, there's a bit of a Dragon
I
Age tease coming out.
I found it weird that they even talked about that, considering that game seems like it's still 2 to 3 years away. That seemed weird to have a full
Oh, yeah.
segment, but whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I
cool.
completely agree with you.
Inquisition's fun. I kind of fell off. I like the first one, but I fell off Inquisition. Dragon Age is not really my.
Yeah.
You would think it would be,
Like
but it's not.
Dragon Age 2 was really, really good. I'd never played Inquisition. I heard it was really, really good. Um, I was really, really saddened though, however, because my dream of KOTOR 3 is now being pushed further and further away from
I think you need to give that up,
reality.
my friend.
You know, come on now. I need to know why I drifted off into the black beyond to just find Revan. What is going on here?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was that. And then there were a couple of other items as well. There was a game called 12 Minutes. It's an interactive thriller made by Xbox and Microsoft. This looks like it's going to be exclusive to them. It looks really, really star-studded. It's got William Dafoe, Daisy Ridley from the new Star Wars movies, and James McAvoy. That looked really, really interesting and really, really cool. Um, Crash Bandicoot 4 was shown a little bit. They had some flashbacks tapes. Basically, you can flash back to the original levels, whatever, kind of like look back into time, look back to see how the sausage was made. It's like a level behind the level, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that was really, really fun to see. There was a huge emphasis on Star Wars, as there is with any such event. Gosh, like I didn't realize how much stuff was circling around Star Wars still, even though the third trilogy is over.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess Mandalorian is like at the height of its powers right now, but whatever. Um, Star Wars Squadrons, they went a little bit on that. There's a Sims 4. They're gonna have Star Wars DLC.
That was
That
weird.
kind of really really cool. I have not played Sims games in a long time. I haven't like downloaded the Sims 4 game when it was on PlayStation Plus. But
Oh yeah.
wow, there's a lot to that game. It would take me some time to like understand and like dive into
Yeah.
deeply. But the fact that they're going to put Star Wars world into that world
It looks so
kind
goofy.
of
It looks
feels
so
like
goofy. Yeah.
And then the one that my wife and I are actually been waiting a long time for is the complete Skywalker saga for the Lego Star Wars game. It's doing a complete revamp on the first 6 movies. I'm not sure if I like that because I liked Lego games before Legos were allowed to talk.
It was
Telltale
weird.
Telltale utilized all their creative juices to make them funny in a way where speech was not needed.
Mm-hmm.
And when they started adding movie bites, I think the Lord of the Rings was the first one that did it.
Yeah.
I think that charm of the Lego games kind of went away a little. It still has that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you're just like, oh, but I'd like to see what it is. Like, we love playing those games. My son loves watching us play those games. He actually started playing a little Lego Batman himself over the past weekend. So, got to get him in early.
That's a lot of games in one package. This
Yeah.
Star Wars thing. That's
Nine
nine.
movies?
Yeah, 9 movies. That's a lot of Star Wars in one package. That's cool.
So there was that, and there were other things as well. Again, that obviously have been in the public knowledge for a while. They went a little on Doom Eternal. That's the Ancient Gods campaign expansion. That's going to be released in October 20th this year. So it's going to come out for the current consoles, and I think it's going to come out obviously for the next gen consoles as well. Oh boy! So again, when I told you earlier that this show was a mixed bag.
Dude, what was this?
The Christopher Lloyd drop when he showed up, and he was basically the I don't know if he was the John Wick of
No, the John Wick thing was way better.
Yeah, like Keanu Reeves showing up for Cyberpunk was great.
But Keanu Reeves came out as Keanu Reeves. It was freaking Dr. Brown. And and see, when he came out, I was like, oh shit, are they going to do some sort of Back to the Future thing? No.
Yeah, and so I played those Back to the Future Telltale games, the Lucas Arts ones, the adventure games.
They're all right.
Those were a lot of fun. And
they're
so
good.
When I was like, whoa,
yeah,
are you serious? Well, he went out there with the Surgeon Simulator 2, which
just so weird.
It looks goofy, but again, these are the Bossa Studios. These are the same creators of I Am Bread.
Yeah.
And so, it looks fun. Again, maybe in the right setting with the right people.
Yeah.
That game can be a lot of fun. But I think I was just so distracted by Dr. Emmett Brown.
So it was just
trying to explain time.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Oh man. So moving on. I mean, there's several more things. I don't mean to ramble. There's a lot that came out of this opening night live. There's a new Sam and Max game, which I know that Panda, I don't know if she's in the stream. I know she's going to be happy about. Blizzard is coming out with another.
Oh, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but on that Sam and Max thing, it's a VR thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's VR, which is weird and kind of cool.
I mean, when you're watching it like in the middle of the day, you just start to like nod off.
That was later where it was like, oh god, show me Fall Guys so I can end this.
That's pretty much it, man. Yeah. Like, Blizzard again, they're coming out with Warcraft Shadowlands. I thought it was kind of funny. So I jumped into a couple of other people's streams watching it, and like one of my favorite guys, Alex Navarro from Giant Bomb, he literally said, "I bet this is really compelling to someone."
No, it was.
And I lost my shit when he said that.
As someone that likes World of Warcraft or liked it back in the day, I don't know what the heck they were doing, thinking that not only did they do it in a weird way, like this big storytelling thing, it was long.
Yeah.
And it just fell really flat for me and a lot of people, and apparently Alex.
They didn't do the So you know how Blizzard is just well renowned for their cinematic genius, and they did it in this
Exactly.
weird comic book art style, which
No, didn't.
again, it looked great, but that is not Blizzard to me.
It
That
does.
is
It
something
didn't
again
fit.
that looked like it was drawn on it was scraped up from the drawing room floor and
Yeah.
like, hey, let's put this together really quick so we can showcase something
Yeah, didn't
to
fit
let
with
our
the.
fans know we're doing something behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
did not fit with Gamescom. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
So we got more Warhammer games. If you love
Oh,
Warhammer,
yeah. Of course.
more games are on the assembly line. Little Nightmares 2 again. So the reason I'm showcasing this is because I was planning to do like a Little Nightmares stream.
Hmm.
This game looks pretty fun. It's kind of on the same imagination as something like Inside or Limbo, but it's a little creepier, I think, in my opinion. If anyone's seen video of this, so Little Nightmares 2 looks like it's going to be more co-op in its manifestation. So it looks like that'll be more fun, more Halloween antics coming right around the corner.
Hmm.
Dark Pictures Anthology is coming out with their next game. It's called Little Hope.
Hmm.
So if you haven't played Man of Medan, that's a fun game that takes place on a ship. And these are the same guys who did Until Dawn,
Ah,
the game that you will be playing soon.
October. It's coming.
Yes, and this one actually comes out. Yeah, this one comes out in October. Yes, so it's perfect for that. And then finally,
Get ready, Ryan.
there's so much fun. So W2K Battlegrounds was showcased a little bit. And we've seen a lot of this, with previous game shows as well. But this just it goes to my 8-year-old heartstrings. That it looks very, very exciting. It's very NFL Street with these over the top slams and DDTs, and I mean, I'm really excited about it. I never thought I'd say that about a wrestling game in 2020, especially not one that looked like it was a simulation one. So
Well, and Ryan has a lot of history with the 2K WWE series, and he can definitely tell us that it was time for something new, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think if I'm surprised they still have the license to put out Battlegrounds with as poorly received and made as 2K21 was or 2K20 was last year. It was bad. Like little things that you figure would come in a patch to fix it, little bugs and graphic hiccups and just stuff like that, and the mechanics never got figured out.
Oh,
It's just like, I don't know.
It was-
So I guess they're hoping that this Battlegrounds, they can put it out there and people will have a lot of fun with it, and then maybe they can continue on with something like that, and then WWE can give the simulation license back to
Whoever.
THQ.
Well, THQ doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, well, maybe that's why they lost the license. Because 2K has had the license since 2014, 15, something like that, and they sit around with the mechanics too much, and they don't add enough to make it interesting from year to year. It kind of has a Madden feel to it, where basically it's like, hey, you want a new roster? Come spend $60. We might have a new story mode that you can play, and that's why I got 2K19 last year on Black Friday. I cracked it open about 6 months ago because I was cleaning something up, and then I played through the story mode, and I thought, okay, cool. And then I traded it in, and it was still worth like $15 at GameStop that I put towards Madden this year. And this is the one that came out last year, a year and a half after 2K, or a year and a half before. So 2K20 is out, and I was still able to get $15 for 2K19. So that'll tell you what the market thinks about 2K20, that there's more resale value in the 2-year-old version than there is in the one that came out last year. But
yeah, Battlegrounds looks cool.
Yeah,
it looks neat.
See.
I like
Check
what
it
they're
out for sure.
I like them doing something different, at least, and kind of going, like, I feel like wrestling games should be more arcadey anyway. I mean, it's an arcade sport, so do something more arcadey.
Well, let's just say the best wrestling game I've played recently was actually on my phone. I think it was called WWE Immortals, where you collect different player cards and level them up and just kind of do one-on-one.
Oh,
And
wow.
you have special abilities. It was super arcadey, and
Yeah.
you just kind of get different levels of different wrestlers, and you get to build them up and just kind of play how you want. And so that one was free.
Charlie's 100% right. The SNES Royal Rumble game is fantastic. Charlie, tell me about the new, or tell us about the new Netflix series coming.
Oh man, so yeah, it was much rumored, seems like forever, but it looks like they're gonna roll out a new Resident Evil Netflix series coming out. It's gonna be live action. It's gonna be set across 2 different timelines in the Resident Evil universe, produced by the Constantine Film, same company that did the Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich or whatever. I think I pronounced that last name.
Nailed it.
So it's kind of interesting. So they got Andrew Dabb, who is basically writer and co-exec producer of Supernatural, and he's working with Bronwyn Hughes, and she's a person who directed several episodes of The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul. So it's got some good creative people behind the scenes that, like, you know, they're going at this not lightly. This isn't going to be something that you see like on the Sci-Fi Network, hopefully. So Netflix has a lot of money that they're putting behind like a lot of their science sci-fi productions. So I wouldn't be surprised if this looked really, really good. It was done really, really well. So right now there's no really indication like if there's any tie to like the films at all. So I don't know if this is going to be set in like a vacuum universe. You know, I heard rumors that this might have to deal with Hesker's brother. We don't know yet. So
Okay.
I'll look into that even further. And there's no real release date right now. And there's no real cast detail at this
Sure.
time. So, but the fact that like Netflix is announcing a new Resident Evil series, that'll be really, really cool and really fun to see.
Yeah, that's encouraging. That's encouraging.
Especially with all the reboot stuff that's been going out. It's
Yeah,
you know.
that's encouraging that Netflix is the one, because like you said, if it had been on cable, then because Resident Evil, that it needs to be, if you're gonna do it, you need to be able to do it without any handcuffs on. Like, you should be able to go all out, and they'll definitely be able to do that on Netflix. That's cool. So we'll
HBO might be able to pull this off, or even like to some extent maybe A&E or FXX, but the fact that it's on Netflix, they don't really have it. They're not shackled by, you know, any execs. They're running their own engine. So.
That's cool. Ryan, did you ever play any of the Resident Evil games?
Console, no. I mean, I would spend some time in the arcade doing
Oh yeah.
just the ones where they do the moving for you. He's got to take cover and shoot at stuff. But that's the extent of my Resident Evil experience.
Did you watch the movies?
I think I watched the first one. They're not really my bag.
Cup of tea.
Your cup of tea. He doesn't like tea. He's an idiot.
I don't. Or coffee.
Or coffee.
Just soda and beer.
That's right. We'll get to beer later.
Talk more about that later.
Yeah. All right, and new releases for this week. 3 big ones. First, we've got the Marvel Avengers game is coming out this week. All these are coming out Friday.
So scared of that thing.
Man, I don't know. It hasn't shown well, and the preview cycle has not been great for that game. I don't know. I hope it's great. I really do, but I don't know, man. Not feeling it.
And you know me, I'm the biggest MCU like proponent, and just I'm already kind of leery about what this could bring. You know, who knows?
Go ahead, Ryan.
What did you say, Ryan?
I was going to say, I've heard some people that did the beta that had a lot of fun with it, and some people just kind of, they weren't impressed.
Yeah,
so
it's very
gonna be one of
mixed.
those games where it's, I don't know. I mean, every game is one of those games where some are going to like it or hate it, but I haven't.
It seems like this one's going to be very right down the middle, and I hope it's good, but I'm not. I'm like you, Charlie. I don't know. it just always seemed like every time I saw it, I was like, huh, okay.
Well, the hype machine is so much different than it was when Marvel's Spider-Man was coming out. You could not walk around a corner. You could not you go through the internet and like look up an article without everyone saying, "Oh my God."
Mm-hmm.
Like this one is just a lot of like, okay, well, it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, it's very lukewarm responses and
Well,
just
and
a lot of hemming and hawing rather than just like, with Marvel Spider-Man, you just wanted to punch someone to like, hey, release this son of a bitch already right now. Why don't
well, I
you?
think part of the problem is it's not really tied into the movies at all. So a lot of the
Sure.
audience that you might have for it would kind of want to look at it and say, "Hey, I can go do this and whatever." And
Yeah.
then you see in the trailer that one of the first people that dies is freaking Captain America, and so you're just kind of
Dude,
you're
spoilers.
already
Man,
well,
spoiling the
it's
game.
in the freaking trailer. Calm down.
It is. He's right. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, it's like the first thing you do is see that he's died, and then the rest of it has nothing to do with anything you've seen. Which I guess it's kind of cool. It'll draw you out of your comfort zone. It tells you another comic story that you may not have heard before, and so there is that. But at the same time, when you see Marvel's The Avengers, you're kind of thinking, oh shit, I can go play against Loki, or I can go play against Thanos, or whatever. And then it's just kind of, I don't know.
Well, Charlie, we talked about this on a previous podcast. How I don't like the design of a lot of the characters. Like, I don't need it to look exactly like the characters from the movie, but some of them just don't look like Thor. Just doesn't look right. It just, I don't know. I just something. Yeah,
It could
just
be the fact
The
that
Thor
we
on
have.
Fortnite looks better than the Thor in the Avengers game.
Wow.
the Thor in Fortnite
I mean,
does look good.
it
Go
could
ahead.
be the fact that we have literally imprinted ourselves on like these are the people we feel strong like the most strongly about due to the fact that our exposure to the movies has been 2 decades long now, and that changing it, I guess it's to the point where like they didn't change it enough, but they tried to change it just a little bit that makes it look a little off. You know
Sure.
what I mean? I
Sure.
think that's what we're all experiencing is that they're just like
Yeah.
it's still Thor, but it's like a funhouse Thor.
It gets to that point where you see a character and you're thinking, that's Iron Man, but that doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. And why doesn't Thor look like Chris Hemsworth? Yeah, you just get so
Sure.
exposed. And even in the comics now, the way they've redrawn some of them, they look like the guys that are from the movies, just to try to get that crossover audience in who may have only
Yeah.
been watching the movies. And then you get the video game and you're like, that's not what I'm expecting it to be. But
Yeah. It just looks a little too generic for me. I guess that's what it is. But
No, yeah.
that
Completely.
so that's out on Friday. That's out on PS4, Xbox, PC, and Stadia. That thing's still around. And then next up, same day, coming out on everything is the latest installment of the NBA 2K series, 2K21. They're still making that. It is weird that the new 2K basketball game is coming out while the previous season is still playing. That is weird. It's basketball. If you like basketball, I guess you'll like this. It's basketball. And then finally, one that I'm interested in, that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake is out this Friday. I haven't got a chance to play the demo, but I've seen video of it. It looks really cool, and I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and I may give this a shot. It's a PS4, Xbox, and PC. Do you guys have a lot of experience with the Tony Hawk series?
I remember watching my brother play it a lot. I tried. He was good. I was not. It's just that I could do the basic stuff, but the ramp tricks where he's trying to go through and get all the points and stuff like that. I could just never get the timing down, and it was fun to watch my brother play it, but I don't know. It was frustrating as hell to me.
Charlie, did you ever play it? You ever play any of those?
I'm on the same boat with Ryan. I watched Nico Bambi play it a lot back in the day, and he destroyed it that game, and I destroyed the game because I was so bad at it. So it looked really, really cool. I just never got good at it or whatever.
And they brought back the entire soundtrack, which means, Ryan, that the Goldfinger song is in the first one. Superman.
Nice.
Hell yes.
So those are the releases for the week. Not a lot of stuff out. We're getting there though. We're getting to the big part of the season. Once we get to about mid-September, it's gonna be release after release, especially once we hit October. So that's the news. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the topic of the week. And since we've got a guest, what we thought we would do is Charlie and I did the game survey over the course of the first 3 episodes. So we decided that it would be fun to get our friends to do a truncated version of the of that thing. I've lost my train of thought. Yep. I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Survey.
Just failed. But yeah, that survey. And so I sent the questions to Ryan, and he's filled it out, and he's going to start talking about it. Ryan, I'll prompt you with the questions, and then you just go. You just kind of talk about it. We can obviously jump in where we want to and everything. We'll just have a little discussion. So we're going to start like we did, Charlie, with ours. We're going to get some of the bad categories out of the way, and we're going to just go right at it. We're going to go with Ryan. What is your most hated game that you've played?
Man, that was a tough one in that I'm not a harsh critic of many things, and you know this.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think of the last video game that or even when I was a kid, one that I would play and be like, this is bullshit. I'd have to go with Battletoads, just because. Now, I will say that the one that they did that was a crossover with Double Dragon,
that was good.
That game was pretty good. Mm-hmm. But just straight up Battletoads, I was just kind of, I don't know, I wasn't wowed with it, and it didn't play well. And, didn't look great, but, that's just the way terrible games are.
Yeah, I think it's too hard. Like, they've made it too hard on purpose, and it's just, I don't, like, I think the hover jet stuff's fun. Charlie likes Battletoads.
I mean, it was something different than the Ninja Turtles, and again, that game is supposed to be hard, like.
Yeah, but when you're 8 years old.
Yeah, Mega Man was hard when you were 8.
Well, I gave up on that too. But it was at least fun to play. I was like, this is too hard for me. But Battletoads was difficult to the point of not being fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I could tell you, Ryan, that the new Battletoads that just came out last week is also really bad. It's not a good game. You can download it on Game Pass and see for yourself, but you shouldn't. Battletoads and Double Dragon is a good game.
Yeah, I like that one.
Maybe it's
that one got difficult. That one got a little bit too difficult down the stretch too, but not to the point where I quit. Although, I still see that damn. I don't remember exactly if it was a hoverboard or a flying car or whatever it was, but that's the level. That's the level that did me.
Hover jet.
Yeah.
Charlie, maybe
2/3 of the way through the game.
Charlie, I'm just going to tell you, you need to stop it in chat. You need to stop it. All right, yeah, Battletoads.
Neither one of us has ever said that Donkey Kong Country was a bad game. Just for the record, Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong Country, in my humble opinion, was kick-ass.
It was kick-ass.
It's a good game. All right, let's move on before we start yelling at each other.
He's upgraded to good.
Yep.
Motherfucker, stop it. Okay.
He doesn't fight with me as much.
I'm going to con air this thing until you get the great, damn it.
It's my favorite game of all time.
Excellent.
Just cut to the chase.
Yeah, you did it. Just to get you to shut up. It's the best game. It has taken over the top spot from Super Mario World. It's my favorite game ever. All right, let's move on to the next one, Ryan, unless you've got anything else on Battletoads.
Yeah, all right.
I'm all good.
All right, let's talk about your most disappointing game, a game that you were just hyped for, then you played it and you were like, eh. What game would that be, Ryan?
Madden 20.
Madden 20, Madden 19, 18, 17. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's you can be disappointed with Madden once, and then the next year it's on you. But so I guess let's see. The last one that I actually really enjoyed was kind of when they got into the newer stuff. I think that was the one with Gronk on the cover. So 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's kind of when they went into all right, we like the franchise in 17, and then we're just going to update the rosters and add in this new mode. But I remember getting a game for Christmas at some point, and I played it for like 20 minutes, and it was, I had it in my head, and now I forgot it. Not Contra, but I think there was a sequel to Contra.
Super C?
I think so. And it just wasn't the same. I remember wanting it just because Contra was so awesome, and then it just enough about it changed to where I didn't enjoy Super Contra as much as I enjoyed regular Contra. And that was childhood hype. But since I've been an adult, I don't know. I don't get into new games as much.
Mm-hmm.
But
or
I guess
I can
if we want to go newer, it was Mass Effect Andromeda.
Well, that should win.
Yeah, there you go.
It does. Now that I'm thinking about it,
they killed Mass Effect.
I was way more disappointed in Andromeda than I was in Super Contra. But yeah, Andromeda was just
Well, way to go, Ryan.
Before Charlie has an aneurysm.
Yeah, way to go. You made Charlie mad. Nice. Yeah,
the first three were so good. And then I was like, it's a next gen edition, and then I tried it, and it was, yeah. Anyway, we can move on.
Wait, wasn't Mass Effect 3 your most? No, it was Dead Space, right, Charlie? Was it Dead Space?
Dead Space 3.
Dead Space 3. Okay. I don't. What was my? Oh yeah, mine was Fallout 4. All right. So I guess we're gonna go with Mass Effect Andromeda then.
Stop it, Josh.
Oh God, here we go with the bread jokes.
God damn it, Josh! All right, let's get away from the negative stuff and start drifting over to the positive side. So, what's a game that you played that surprised you the most? That you either didn't have any hype for, or just didn't really know about, but then you played it and you were just surprised how much you liked it?
I think Borderlands. Because I didn't see a ton about it going into it. I think it was just a recommendation that I think it was you, either you or David. Somebody made to me. They said, "Hey, we should play Borderlands." I didn't really see any of the promo or media leading into it, and so I just went and picked it up blind at Best Buy one day, and then I'll be damned if we didn't play that game for.
Man, you guys played that a lot.
80-something hours.
Yeah.
We played a lot of that
I think we did everything but Cromerex.
Except for Cromerex, the Invincible.
I still say that one day we will go and do that. I still have that dream of let's do it.
We're gonna have to do like 2 more playthroughs to build up our characters and then go back. So we'd have to put another 50 hours into that game.
So what was it after you started playing it that you really liked? What was the thing that really grabbed you?
And the characters, the dialogue, and just the way it felt and played and stuff like that, and Claptrap.
Yeah,
so it was a nice mix of comedy and action and just stuff I hadn't really gotten into in a lot of games before. So
yeah, it never took itself seriously. Charlie, did you ever really get into Borderlands?
I didn't get into the first one. I got into the second one when I was playing with Alex's group, and boy, we maxed out. I got so many gold keys. It was ridiculous how much of the second game I played, to the point where I went back and tried to play the first game, and there was a lack of fast travel in that game. I understand that you had to traverse entire maps just like the slow way.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of it. Yeah.
They added that to the second game, which made it a lot easier. And I know the second game, I put about 60 hours into that game easily.
Yeah. Well, and
it's funny you see that because for as much as we played the first one, we didn't really get into
I think
the second one
I
at
think
all.
we were just so burned out. I think we were just so done.
It was like Alex and I got invited to the Gearbox release party.
Oh yeah.
That was in Dallas when they let us play Borderlands 2. So we kind of had this weird like vested interest into it because we saw that. We also saw like the horrible Alien game that unfortunately Gearbox, was responsible for as well. But yeah, that's that. I would love to have played Borderlands with you guys. I think I was on something else at the time.
Well,
We'll hop on it, and you can help us beat Cromarex. Let's do it.
Charlie, what is it about people that we've known that have Gearbox ties? Like Alex had the tie to get into that Gearbox thing, and then our friend Cody had the guy that worked at Gearbox.
I don't
so
know.
Weird. I mean, I guess it's because Gearbox is here,
Yeah,
but also
like
that is
I'm
weird.
upset that I don't know anyone from id Software,
Right?
So.
Yeah.
Because they're right there on Central Expressway. Well, Bethesda is now, but whatever.
If anybody from Gearbox or from Bethesda or Gearbox is in the chat right now, hit us up.
Me. I want to visit.
Let's all go.
Didn't Gearbox catch fire at some point? Or am I crazy? I feel like I thought I read something about their server room or something going bananas.
Maybe.
But anyway,
we might have to ask Cody about that.
Probably
Charlie.
way off on that.
Borderlands is fantastic. I wish I would have gotten into the rest of them. I never got into the pre-sequel, and I never played 3 because I got all I ever needed out of the first one. Let's move on. Ryan, what's the first game that you remember ever playing? Way back in the day.
That one fell between Super Mario Brothers and Space Invaders.
Nice.
Either on the Atari, but I mean the first one I actually remember enjoying playing was Super Mario Brothers because my parents had an old Atari when I was 3-4 years old, and I would fart around on that some. But no, I'd have to, Super Mario Brothers and the original
Space Invaders. Yeah, Space Invaders was mine. Because Ryan, Charlie, and myself, we're all around the same age, and Ryan is pushing 40. He'll be 40 very soon. So yeah, we all kind of grew up.
Baby.
We all kind of grew up in that same era, and Charlie, yours was Wizardry, kind of in that same era, and the Atari 2600 Space Invaders. That's the one that I remember first. Did you play? Charlie? I'll ask you while he's.
That'll be fun.
Okay, he's back. Ryan, did you play a lot of like the Super Mario Brothers and 3 and Super Mario World with your brother? Was that a big thing?
Yeah, either my brother or my sister. We kind of would bounce around, and some friends in the neighborhood, stuff like that. But yeah, we'd bounce around between Mario and Luigi. And of course, my brother, when that game was big, he was 1, 2.
Sure.
So I didn't really start playing games with my brother until the Super Mario World.
SNES came out.
Yeah, the SNES.
He was, 6 or 7, whatever.
I guarantee you never had a moment like Charlie was talking about with his cousin winning NBA Jam. Right, Charlie?
Oh, I didn't know who you were talking to. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, especially when. What's up, Joe Shizzle? Welcome to this story.
Welcome to
that last time.
Welcome to the chat.
When Nico Bambi's wife hit a 3 from half court and sank it in there, and the entire room exploded.
Damn it, Jessica.
Jessica with the luck at the end of things. That and poker, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. that woman's luck.
What do 4 queens mean?
I got 4 queens with this
2
ace.
of these and 3 of these. What is that?
Well,
one singer short of the Village People.
Yeah, that means okay. All right, we are going to move on because that was really dumb. Love you, buddy. All right, let's move on. So, Ryan, kind of going back to, games that you played first, but what was the actual game that you played that really made you fall in love with playing video games, where you were like, okay, I like video games, I want to be a gamer, this is great?
Super Mario World, because that was the one where you could just kind of, and it's a weird thing because when we were kids, we moved around a lot, and so basically we had built-in friends with my brother and my sister, so it was something that we could all kind of enjoy as we got used to a new house.
Yeah.
So we could just hook up Super Nintendo and start on Super Mario World. It would give us something to do before we could meet people. And so it kind of, building relationships with my siblings and kind of getting into the whole thing, going back and playing through it multiple times, figuring out new ways to beat levels. And because that was the first game I really remember playing like that, where it was different ways to beat the level, different ways you can unlock this and unlock that road and go take shortcuts around to basically beat the game in 10 minutes if you so choose.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Yeah. And then of course you had Mondo and Cowabunga and those levels. Josh, stop it. Yeah.
That's just me.
Super Mario World is a fantastic game. It's one of to some people it's the best. All right, let's move to the favorites series of stuff. Starting with speaking of series, what's your favorite video game series of all time? Not just game, but series.
Mass Effect, I think, was the one I made that final decision, because that's the one that I got most in depth with, completing 1, 2, doing all the different options in 3 and kind of going from there. And then I guess I don't include Andromeda because it doesn't have Shepard in it.
You shouldn't.
So
you shouldn't.
But I mean, those first 3 were just so much fun to play through. And then in terms of games that I would play with other people, like those Assassin's Creed, the sandwich games in the middle, Brotherhood and Revelations and stuff like that, just because it was
Ass Bros.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I completely missed out on all that.
The first kind of series that I got into playing with a bunch of other people, one of those multiplayer online. It was a battle royale before battle royales. You just kind of set up your thing and
when Ryan gets quiet, it's
people.
Not a glitch. He's about to kill you.
Going down.
It's like when we're playing. It's like when we're
in a bush. I'm gonna stab you in the face.
Yeah, it's like when we're playing poker. Whoever gets the most silent and stops making jokes has 3 of a kind. So going back to the Mass Effect series, how would you order the 3 games in terms of which ones you like the most?
2, 3, 1.
Yeah, that sounds,
in that order, just because
that sounds right.
Yeah, because 3 there was just so much to it. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I don't know. The first one I've played through probably inside the last year or 2, and I remember it fondly, but you go back and play it after having played the other ones, and it's just not a great playing game.
Long elevators.
The story mode was cool and stuff like that, but it just takes so long and it looks so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I wonder if there's long been rumored the remaster of the series. I wonder if when they do that they go back and Charlie, 100%, I'm with you. I wonder if they will go back and maybe retroly
multiplayer.
Well, they go back and retroly make the first one more action. Like they basically do the controls from 2 and put it in to the first one and make it a little bit more accessible, because you're right, when you go back and play that first one, it's really hard to play. It's tough,
especially when you're having to do shootouts in that damn car. It doesn't drive well in the fire controls, or it's just
take that back.
I don't want to hear it, Charlie.
The first one,
it's terrible.
It's
the Mako is awesome.
No, it's not. It's the worst vehicle in the history of video games.
Yeah. It's not
the
great.
only thing that could scale the side of a mountain.
That was perpendicular to the ground.
But if you get stuck in a firefight, it's not great. You're just having to drive around in circles and be like, all right, I got a guy.
What were those big fuckers called? The
Thresher Maws.
Thresher Maws. Anytime those would pop up, I would drive away because it controls like shit. And it's fucked up because I did fucking everything in that first game, just like I did everything in the second game. Like I did everything. I even did the Moon DLC that they put out. I did all that, which was actually a really good DLC. I mean, it's no what was the in 2, what was the DLC, the big one, the one where
Overlord?
No, the one where you had to go in, the one that was that had all the information and you had to go stop him.
Shadow Broker?
Shadow Broker. Yeah, Shadow Broker. Fantastic DLC. Mass Effect's great. They should do that remaster. Cuz I would buy it.
Make a better sequel.
Yeah, I wonder if we ever see Mass Effect again.
# bring back Shepard.
I wonder if we ever see Mass Effect again. I don't know.
I literally am holding my tongue just because of time restraints, because I could go on for about an hour on why they should.
I know. I know. I'm not saying they shouldn't. They should, but I wonder if Andromeda was such a disaster that they don't just. I don't know. It may be a while. It'll be a while.
There's a whole generation of people who would have not played that thing and don't have access to it, that if they made another remastered series, especially one with the first game that was pretty much constrained by the fact that its hardware was limited, put that on a much larger, much better piece of machinery, you're going to see the first game a lot more streamlined. And I agree with you. They should make it a little more like 2, a little more action packed. But yeah, who knows what EA, because it's not BioWare anymore, it's EA is thinking regarding that series or whatever. So
if they're willing to put Madden out year after year and not do anything with it, they should be able to shell some money into Mass Effect.
Well, I mean, with Dragon Age 2 or 3 years away, even if they are working on a new Mass Effect, you would think that's 5+ years away no matter what. Also, Charlie, just to correct you from the chat, Mako equals Warthog. They're both garbage. They both are terrible, and they both control like shit. All right, we got 2 more here. Ryan, what is your favorite game of this generation, the Xbox One, PS4 generation? What's the game? What's your favorite one?
Titanfall? Or did I play that on 360?
That would have been 360 probably.
Yeah. Well, damn it. That's the answer I had written down because I had so much fun with that. I guess Red Dead. I played that on this.
Red Dead.
That was 360 also.
Red Dead 2?
No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. It's the Shadow of Mordor.
There you go.
Game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got big into that one, and I just liked everything about the way they did it with, having to work your way through the levels and then do the story modes and then war chiefs. And it was a pretty neat battle system that they put together that, I don't know, I've heard Mitch talk about it, that more people need to kind of shoehorn that into a game here or there.
Nemesis
just
system.
The way you level up your character and then go war chief by war chief and just pick them all off. But I don't know. That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a game I wish I would have gotten into more. I played a decent amount of it and then just kind of fell off of it. I wish I would have played more of it. It sounds like Charlie, that's one that he just never got to.
I was in the middle of just playing games on PC at the time. And I know, Ryan, you suggested it to me, and I got it on PC, and I think I played it for like a hot minute, and I just never, I didn't give it enough time to, sink its teeth into me. So I might, if I have a chance, try to go back into it.
It's very time consuming, even just to kind of get a feel for it, you got to play for a
I
couple
heard
of
it's
hours
pretty
just to
expansive,
go
yeah.
and figure out the map and how you want to lay out your character and where all your enemies are and stuff. It's very immersive. I mean, it's an open world game, so I mean, it's a lot like, I mean, Grand Theft Auto, stuff like that, where you get a lot of stuff to do, but then you can get sidetracked just
Like
cruising
Fallout?
around and picking off. Yeah, Fallout.
It's probably not as expansive as Fallout, but yeah, same.
Not nearly as, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
same basic
it's
principle.
But yeah, and I didn't drop off it because I thought I wasn't having any fun. It's just one of those things where it's like I was playing it, and then I stopped playing it, and I never went back. And I feel like that's one of those games I keep saying I'm gonna go back, and then as we get further away from it, it's less and less of a chance I'm gonna actually do that. But Shadow Mordor, very good game. And yeah, you're right, Ryan. I wish they would put the Nemesis system in a lot more stuff. No other game, aside from the Shadow of War, the sequel, no one's ever used it. And I don't get it. It's a fantastic thing. What's up?
No, I couldn't believe when you said that. Like, that no other game used that. I was like,
not really.
Wow, that's
no.
interesting because everyone was raving about that thing.
Yeah, it's a great
because
system.
it was Game of the Year, whatever year it came out.
Yeah, a lot of people gave it Game of the Year for sure.
And so it's just kind of.
Charlie, do you remember Giant Bomb gave it Game of the Year? Was that their?
Yeah, I think it was their default Game of the Year that year.
Yeah,
I think it was like that was the best game, and then there was a whole bunch of third place.
Yeah, it's a good game. All right, let's get to the big one, Ryan. What is your favorite game ever?
2014. Wow,
2014. What's your favorite game of all time, Ryan?
Donkey Kong. I'm just kidding.
You're the winner, sir.
Oh, you're the best. I wish Stern was here.
I thought he was. He was earlier.
Nah, he went to go stream.
Jeez. I guess if we're just going based on how much money I've spent on a video game, it's Madden, and it's not even close.
No, that's not your favorite game. There have been so many of them,
I can't pinpoint a specific Madden that would be my favorite game. But can I call Super Mario All-Stars a game?
Sure.
Well, there you go.
I mean, yeah, you can. So, you can.
We'll go that route because you got all the options and the hidden levels that they remastered and threw out there, and all the OG Mario, and then Super Mario World, so you kind of get a feel for it all in one handy-dandy Super Nintendo cartridge.
The best value in gaming, definitely at the time, and I also still continue to believe it's the greatest remaster in the history of video games.
It's pretty great.
You've got four classics, the four of the most classic games of all time, in one package, up-resed and new. I guess it was built from the ground up, but yeah, it's a fantastic package, and I know fantastic packages. Charlie, okay? Charlie, did you fall asleep? It sounded like you were snoring.
No, that is a fantastic package. I remember when that sucker came out, and again, like I had told you in previous podcasts, I had never played 3. I had literally to say never, I played it like very, very little because I never owned 3 on the regular NES, but on the Super Mario All-Stars package, that was actually the first time I really, really dove in. It's the first time I beat 3 was on that showcase, and actually that's the first time I beat 2 as well.
That's the first time I ever played 2.
Oh yeah,
I had never played 2 on the NES. Yeah, it's a fantastic, and the one that Ryan had also had Super Mario World in it. So yeah, what a fantastic pack. That was the one that came out like I want to say that came out like right before the original PlayStation came out. That's how late that cartridge was. The one with all of it.
Yeah, we got it in like 97, something like that. 95, 90, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's just one of those where we got it. I think it was a Christmas bit. We got the Super Nintendo and we got the Super Mario All-Stars, Donkey Kong Country, Aladdin, which that was a kick-ass game too.
Aladdin's good.
And the Lion King Super Nintendo game, which that one was good too.
Yeah, those were good. Those old Disney games were quite good. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for doing that, Ryan. That was a lot of fun. It's good to hear all these different opinions on some of that stuff, and Charlie will definitely do that for the next guest, whether it's Nico or Joshua. And we'll continue to do that. So that's a good time. So let's go ahead and move on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the mailbag. And if you have any questions, you can hit us up on Twitter at Charzar81. You can hit me at Team Llama Games. You can hit us up in the chat here right now if you would like to. Hit us up on the Discord or at the MC Gamescast at gmail.com. We got a lot of really good questions this week, and I'm excited that Ryan is going to join us for the mailbag this time. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the first question from our good friend Smithy Fingers. We got some video game centric. Smithy asked, what was the game that made you say, fuck it, I'm ready for the multiplayer challenge after coming off the story mode? So what's a game that you played offline, but then you were like, let's do it. Let's take this shit online. What was that game?
Who are you? Okay.
Whoever. Go ahead. Charlie?
Ryan, you got one yet? I can. So I guess you would consider that online. So again, I'm still pretty fairly new into the BR universe. So mine is not going to be a battle royale, but it would have to be when you, Ryan, we played Aspros. And I think we got Adam into playing that, and I think Chris was playing that as well with us.
And Nick.
Yeah,
we had enough, I think, at some point where we had 8 people online at any given time where we could just do a 4-on-4 without having to
Except me.
Except for me.
Yeah.
We tried, man. We tried talking you into it.
I know.
You're busy crafting daggers or something.
Oh, yeah. Probably, actually.
No, it was that, and like obviously, like when we did Horde mode with God of War 3, we played
Gears of War.
Amount of that.
Gears of War.
Yeah, sorry, Gears of War 3.
I was like, God of War didn't have multiplayer. That would be kind of cool, though.
Oh, it tried.
Yeah, that and the Left 4 Dead, the one they added after the fact, where you were online with a handful of people, and it was just a survival mode. Where they could break the physics rules that they weren't allowed to break before, like coming in the side walls of houses. But anyway,
that was a good time. Even though that game didn't really have like a story mode to it or whatever.
Yeah, single player.
I see what you're saying though.
Yeah, I think mine. Is probably the Battlefield Bad Company 2 because I wasn't that big.
I was thinking that too.
I wasn't big into playing shooters online back then, but after playing a little bit of Bad Company 2, and my roommate at the time, David, had it too, and he was playing online. So after playing that, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. And I eventually got good at that game, but you got okay at it. You were fine. You were fine. Bad Company 2, fantastic online game. So yeah, I guess that would be mine. And then kind of at the same token from Smithy, do you guys remember what your first online video game experience was? Like, what was the first game you ever actually played online?
I think Madden for me, like a dial-up on PlayStation 2, something like that.
Wow,
it was
I bet.
Terrible.
Yeah, I bet that played like shit.
Charlie,
do you remember yours?
It's not great to play Madden online now.
Well, that's truth. Man, I think mine would have to be StarCraft.
Oh, sure.
Doing the multiplayer maps there, and realizing how bad of a player I am at those.
Oh,
games.
yeah.
And just the strategies that these people online can come up with, like the term Zerg Rush.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I was literally slapped in the face with that several times.
Oh yeah. I was
It
introduced to
I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
mm,
You know what? StarCraft actually might be a good answer for that first question of like you played a whole bunch of single player StarCraft and you're just
Yeah.
like let's fucking go, and then you get online and someone Zerg rushes you immediately and you die in 3 minutes and
let's go back to the store.
you're just like, hey, let's go do the Zergling story.
Let's go beat the Overmind again.
Yeah. Yeah,
That'll be easier.
Boy, you want to talk about a rude awakening that first time you got on StarCraft Online.
Man.
That's StarCraft is a good one. My first game experience online was for the Dreamcast, Phantasy Star Online. That's the first time I ever went online with a game. Phantasy Star Online is a was. It's obviously not up anymore. Fantastic game, and yeah, that's the first one. And Ryan, just like you, I played that son of a bitch on dial-up, and like even an RPG that's a little bit slower, like an online RPG, man, that shit would go bad real quick, especially if someone picked up the goddamn phone, and then you've been disconnected from Phantasy Star Online. But yeah, that was. It's funny that for Ryan and I, our first ones were on a console and not an actual computer.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely my first computer one was the original Counter-Strike. That's the one I definitely.
Oh, wow.
That's the one I went online first, and that was another one where I was like, I'm ready, and nope. Oh, I wasn't. Counter-Strike.
They're
That's
really good out there.
Whoo, Counter-Strike players are something else. Let's move on. Let's go to a question from our good friend Nico. This one's for all of us, but obviously he asked this because we got Ryan on the show. What's your favorite Madden? What year of Madden was the one that you consider your favorite of the series?
I want to say it was 08. Because they had
McNabb?
They had Tony Bruno on there in the game. Like there was a radio show that was actually
That's right.
It was actually built in, and it was tied into how your team was doing, so you could kind of hear a sports talk show about your specific Madden franchise team.
Okay.
And I always thought that was kind of cool the way they built it in. They would talk about how your team did and what was going on, and that was one of the ones I was talking about earlier, where everything was jumbled in together. You could control scouting, rebuilding the stadium, running practice, running training camp, calling the plays, all that at the same time. And more recently, they've kind of made it a little bit more intensive to, if you want to be the owner, you don't really have much say-so in what's going on in the scouting department and stuff like that. You have to be a coach to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, that was 08, I think was the last one I remember where they built in training drills, like mini camp drills, where you could pick a specific player and, go against tackling dummies or make catches off the jugs machine or try to go one-on-one the receiver to build up your defensive backs and stuff. It was a lot more realistic. You could see a more training camp feel rather than now you're just kind of simulating practice.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Whoops, there we go. Charlie, what about you? What's your what year's your favorite?
Oh man, is it the favorite or the best?
Oh, well, I guess it's which one you think is the best one.
I'll say this before I answer that question, Ryan. I had to look up Madden 08 just to see what it was you were referencing to. So this is the one with Vince Young on the cover.
Oh, that's right.
And literally, there are two videos on when you Google search it, and it actually says there's two or three say Madden 08 is actually better than today's Madden was one.
Hell yeah, it is.
And then Madden NFL 08, the last great Madden.
Nice.
So there are videos dedicated to this is the best Madden.
It was more immersive in the in-between week stuff, and you can actually do your own soundtrack, if I remember that correctly, where if you didn't want to listen to the garbage that Snoop Dogg writes to be on Madden now, you can just rip music into your hard drive and decide that while I play Madden, I want to listen to Metallica or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't do that anymore.
You're not defaulted to Good Charlotte and Sum 41.
Oh boy, yeah. Hey, Sum 41 was NHL. Thank you.
So I'll say this: I'll say this. I don't dabble as much as you do in the Maddens, but and I might agree with you regarding that. Oh wait, might be the best Madden just by default. But like, I think my favorite Madden, if you're going to ask me, like like this in this setting, has to be '93.
Oh,
And the
sure.
reason I
Oh,
say
that's
that
the
is
OG
that
Madden, right?
is with actual John Madden and Pat Summerall calling the games.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because I remember this fondly. We went to a Toys R Us and I wanted Madden 92 so badly, but they were out. And then that window you go to, back in the day,
With
like
the little
in Toys
slip.
R Us, you would go get a slip.
Yeah.
You would pay for it at the register, and then you would take the slip with the receipt to the magical window.
Mm-hmm.
And at that window, they would give you the game. And it was awesome. You smell like cellophane. It was just great.
The best.
But they didn't have that game, and so he's like, "Well, kid, we have this new stack of Madden 93 here. Do you want this?" And honestly, I was disappointed at first because I wanted to play 92 because that's the one that my cousin Joe had. That's the one we played on all the time. But then I got 93, and it was the graphics were better on it. The engine, the physics were better on it. I mean, this was the one that like had there was injuries in it.
The
where
ambulance.
You would see this huge ambulance. No. The entire game would stop. The ambulance would come down this weird diagonal angle, and all of a sudden,
and it would run over and knock people away as it went through. The best.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Oh, so good.
That was so great that we played that game. But like my brother and I, we fondly played that game. His is Madden 95. Mine would have to be like 93. Just I mean. I went through seasons in that thing and took the Dallas Cowboys to several Super Bowls.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
Yeah, those Super Nintendo ones were I remember the movement being real floaty when you would run.
Yes. Yes.
And it was also when you would bring up the pass catchers, they'd be up in the windows at the top. Yeah, just really. And man,
you can't see them on the field at all. You're just guessing. Like, I guess I can throw the ball where that guy is. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that fucking ambulance. My the best Madden of all time is NFL 2K5.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Not bad.
Well, you know what though? But like actually, to be honest, like the 03-04 era, Charlie, that you, me, and all Chris and old Ramsey,
PS2.
the kind of PS2 era when we were having our matches. Like to me that was the era that that was when I was buying them every single year.
Oh yeah,
and so kind of that era, I kind of fell off once it kind of started to hit the 360 PS3 era, kind of around the 06 and 07. But man, yeah, and same thing with the NCAA games. I mean, the heyday of the NCAA games. I was buying both of those versions every single year. So yeah, that's kind of the era that I was really really big into. We'll go ahead and move on now. We got one more video game question. Actually, we got one at the end, but last one for a bit. This one's from our good friend Panda. What is your favorite video game soundtrack? And does a great soundtrack really matter to you? And I think for your favorite soundtrack, I think we should separate it between licensed soundtrack and just video, orchestrated original. Because I think Charlie and Josh will absolutely agree.
Josh is right.
Josh is right. It's Vice City. Like, what an incredible collection of licensed songs. Like Grand Theft Auto has always had great soundtracks, obviously based on the eras that they took place in, but Vice City, man, just perfect.
Do we count any of the new band games that we are playing?
I mean,
because I would contest that Beatles Rock Band might be up there.
Like of course, but I mean, I don't know.
I agree with Vice City, but I'm just wondering.
I don't think so.
I always think of a soundtrack as something that you listen to kind of
while playing the game
without having to participate. So I think if you're talking about Rock Band and stuff like that, that's more the game is geared towards the music.
Yeah,
but obviously.
I think
the songs in those games are so much better than a giant.
Yeah. Giant, and I think I'm Paranoid. All those great songs.
Learn to
Paramore.
Fly.
Yeah, Learn to
I
Fly.
can't listen to that song anymore.
I can't without thinking that you Learn to Fly. I can't think about. I can every time that comes on, all I think about is playing it for the 12th time in an hour.
All the songs that were on that game, and we just randomized it, and every single fucking time.
Well, it was because it was a new.
Learn to Fly.
It was because it was a new save, and so only certain songs were unlocked, and those were the first on the first tier.
That's good.
But yeah, Vice City. So, do you guys have one from like original music? Is there
Super Mario?
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Nah.
How about you, Charlie?
The Mega Mans have great music.
Oh, so good.
Especially that 8-bit, 16-bit electronica sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is more epic than the God of War soundtrack, in my opinion,
Sure.
and I'm including Mass Effect with that. I mean, those would be my go-tos regarding that question.
Yeah, Mega Man. Mega Man's
Mega
really
Man.
good. Yeah, that's a real good one. I think for me, it's probably the soundtrack for Final Fantasy 3/6 on the SNES. It's so good. The composers for that just did such a great job of setting moods for the specific areas that you're in. It's very good. Final Fantasy's always really had good music. But man, Mega Man, it's so good. Especially Mega Man 2. Oh, I love it. And, to the question of, does a great soundtrack matter? I don't know if a great soundtrack matters, but if the music's bad, it can take you out of it. It can take you out of a game.
I agree with you there.
Just think of it like a movie, and just imagine if the Star Wars songs were just god awful.
Yakety sax.
Yeah, if it was yakety sax instead of the Imperial Death March.
Yeah.
Or instead of Star Wars, it was The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just every time Darth Vader walks on the screen.
I want to watch that.
He's in super fast motion. Oh God. Someone should do that. I bet someone's done that. I bet you we can go on YouTube right now. It doesn't have to be great, but it definitely doesn't. I don't want it to be just where if you're thinking about the soundtrack negatively, you've got a problem. If it's the other way around and you're either not thinking about it, if you're not thinking about the music, then it's fine. But yeah. All right. Speaking of music, let's hit a question here from Josh. If you had to listen to one song for 24 hours straight and it's loud, do you choose Kiss from a Rose by Seal or Glory of Love by Peter Cetera? I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is an easy answer. And I think the answer is Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too with Kiss from a Rose.
I love Karate Kid too, but I agree with you regarding
I'm gonna say
the
it.
song.
I'm just gonna say it, especially comparing it to Kiss from a Rose. Glory of Love is a boring song. It's good, but it's boring. Kiss from a Rose to me, it has that really good build up in the middle of it. I don't know. I think it's a better song than Glory of Love, but I also think if I'm gonna have to listen to something for 24 hours, I want something that's
Sure.
a little bit more. Go ahead,
Well,
Charlie.
I don't know if Josh had the same situation that I did. I had a professor named Miss Roberts. She was our computer professor. I think by the time Josh got to high school, she was the dean or something. But when she would teach the class, she would play the Seal CD.
Oh, wow.
And so I am very familiar with the fact that for an hour and a half while doing typing drills and sneaking in a game of SimCity 2000 or Doom, that thing would be playing in the background. So at about, 22 and a half more hours to it, I think I can endure.
You know what? That actually reminds me of another song that was played kind of like that, Charlie, where it was in class and got played all the time. So would you pick Kiss from a Rose or the Robin Hood song by Bryan Adams. The I'll Do It For You.
Oh, Kiss from a Rose?
Kiss from a Rose, or I'll Do It For You, or whatever that's called.
Everything I Do.
Everything I Do. Okay, yeah. Stop knowing that.
It's Bryan Adams, bro.
No, it's not. That song sucks.
Well, give me a second. Usually I'd be all in on anything Bryan Adams except for that one in particular song.
Oh, it's so bad.
Bryan Adams was so great. Most of his songs I can just
really love a woman
do over and over again, but then
yeah, it's still Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a crescendo in that song. Like, it goes from this soft swing,
Been kissed by
and you can
that part's so good.
Val Kilmer jumping off, in Batman style in the back of my head. So
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Plus,
Batman or Karate Kid 2. I mean, I don't know.
Speaking of, if you look it up, that
Batman
Forever soundtrack, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
there was some
Imp.
Yeah, it was good.
Who else was on there? U2 had a song on
U2.
there. The Offspring were on there, I think, a couple times.
There were several. They were really
It was a good soundtrack.
Kick-ass soundtrack.
Good soundtrack for
movie,
a bad movie.
that movie is overrated.
Underrated? Okay, that's fine. I think it's rated. I think it's rated exactly where it should be.
It's one of those movies where if it shows up on TV, I'll watch it.
Oh, well, of course,
I don't seek it out.
No, yeah, like it's still
that's
watchable.
The hottest Nicole Kidman has looked.
It's fine.
Yeah, you know what, Charlie? You're 100% right. That's
what about
Pete
Eyes
Kidman.
Wide Shut, though?
No, I think
I've never seen that. So
yeah, I've seen it, but yeah, I think Charlie's right. I think that's Pete Kidman. I agree. That's good. I like it. So there you go, Josh. I hope that's Josh, you didn't say which one you'd pick, so go ahead and put that in the chat. But we'll while he's doing that, we'll go ahead and move on to another question from Nico. What's your favorite type of barbecue? Texas, Memphis, Kansas City? What's the best one? I'll go first because I have an answer. I have the exact correct answer.
I have the perfect answer.
It's fucking barbecue. Who gives a shit? It's all great. It's all fucking great.
I love all barbecue.
Yeah. But what I mean, I there's
okay.
Go ahead.
Let's go under the supposition. I mean, it's not supposition; it's the law and fact that we all love all barbecue. If you had a choice, though,
except for that Carolina nonsense that's mustard. But anyway, screw you, Carolina.
Like a true Texan.
Yeah.
If you were literally given a choice and like that is you had to put it on a plate and that's the only you can only have Texas, you can only have Kansas City, only Memphis.
Yeah.
I would say I'd say Texas to be honest.
Yeah, and obviously because we've had more of it anyway. I mean that's it, and we're biased from that, but also it's all fucking good. It's all fucking It's all delicious succulent meats. So,
It depends on if you're in a dry rub mood or a heavy sauce mood or what your flavor profile. Because
I'm in all
spicy.
Kansas City versus Texas is more or less a sauce difference. It's
and it's all great.
A sweet and spicy versus a sweet and savory, just stuff like that. Memphis is more of a dry rub kind of bit, but yeah, you get over to Carolina when every sauce is mustard based and most of their meat is pork.
Man,
I'm all in on hating Carolina barbecue.
God damn, man. Just
look,
just smoke
Texas just because I like
some meats.
Spicy. I like our sauce better.
Smoke some meats, put whatever the fuck on it. I'm gonna eat it. It's fucking the best. It's amazing. So I mean, I know it's a cop out, but the answer is everything except Carolina. But yeah, I mean,
sorry to anybody in the chat that's from Carolina.
But it's pulled pork though.
Pulled pork's good, but it's just
it's fucking
when
amazing.
All of your barbecue is based in pork.
Sure.
You're not really going to go to Carolina and get
mix in a brisket every now and then.
That. It's just
from the magical.
You're getting pork ribs and pulled pork and sausage. You're not getting.
We use all the pig in Carolina.
And their sauce is all mustard based, and I don't like that
Yeah,
anyway.
that's not great. That's not great.
Oh, that's right. You put ketchup on your hot dogs.
Yep.
Well,
Commie.
no, I'll do spicy mustard on a brat, but if I'm eating barbecue, I don't want it to be. I want it to be molasses based or honey or something like
Yeah.
that. It can't be mustard.
That's a good one.
That being said, Carolina is beautiful. I don't mind that part of the country, but what they do
look
to
at
their
him
food,
backtracking. He's backtracking, Charlie.
I can do without your food there.
Carolina's all right, even though I just trashed the
pretty
shit
part
out
of
of
the
your
country.
food.
Michael Jordan's from there.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah. You gonna trash Michael
nice-
Jordan?
Nah.
He ate the pizza. Nobody else. Nobody else ate the
Eat
pizza.
the pizza.
Pizza. All right. Well, sticking with
Watch The Last Dance, damn it.
sticking.
I did.
He did.
I'm just telling everyone out there.
Yeah. Last
okay.
Dance. All right. Let's stick with food/drinks. Nico brings us one more. If you could only drink beer for the rest of your life, no water, soda, which that was weird that you can't have water. I feel like you would die if you that's the only thing you drank. But
Nope.
whatever. It's
Water's
a hypothetical.
the first ingredient in beer. You're fine.
We got a beer connoisseur on the.
Sure. No, you're probably
podcast this time,
you're
so-
probably not fine. But if you could only pick three
No, you're definitely not. I'm just saying.
3 beers, and they have to be beers, can't be any other type of canned or bottled drink. Beers. What are you choosing? Your 3 beer. Basically, what's your 3 favorite beers? I guess is really the question.
Miller Lite, Coors Light,
Okay.
Bud Light.
Shut up.
The answer.
Go away.
The actual answer is you could choose any 3 beers you want as long as they're all 3 Corona.
No Corona. I mean, I would start.
It's Vince.
My number 1 is Stiegel Radler. 'Cause
Steigel.
it's just the best.
Steigel.
It's so good.
I got
then-
my.
They're all pretty much the same for me. I like the ones that have that kind of fruit forward profile, so Radlers and sours and stuff. But if I have to pick a brand and a flavor, I guess, is that where we're going with this?
I guess, yeah.
I can't
sure.
just say, give me whatever Radler is available.
Yeah, I think
It'd
you
be
got to give specifics.
It'd be Stiegel, Radler, and then Samuel Adams, Porch Rocker. And then just so I can
Nice.
have something with an alcohol by volume way up there, I'm going to go with the greatness of the Dream Crusher Double IPA out of the Deep Ellum Brewing Company.
There you go.
Because it's a nice flavor and it's like 10.2% alcohol. It's good times.
They do suck. IPAs are terrible. Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, there's a difference between a double IPA and an IPA. But
It sounds like double the suck to me.
Boy, so the middle of the road for me, if you're gonna just straight
Let's
up
hop.
like default beer, just give me a Guinness. That's the easiest
There you
choice
go.
that anyone could ever make. Something a little darker, maybe a little different flavor profile. I'm gonna have to go with Young's Double Chocolate Stout. Drinks like a fucking chocolate malt. It's delicious.
I don't like dark beers, but that's really good.
Yeah,
It's
sweet
really
chocolate stouts, yeah, you can get past them with it being a dark beer. The flavor
And then-
profile.
There you go. Yeah, and obviously, if I'm gonna go something light and fruity, like for the summertime, man, yeah, I'd have to go with like something like a Steigel or a Leinenkugel or something like that. Or hell, it's September. It's almost Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
What's the Oktoberfest beer? I'm trying to remember that sucker.
Oktoberfest.
There's that, and gosh, like I'd hate to leave out the St. Arnold's Christmas.
Oh,
Beer.
yeah. There you go.
Because
That's
it's
a good one.
literal. I've never had a beer like my buddy Adam had told me that this long time ago. We went to the Flying Saucers. Like, this sucker tastes like Christmas, and it does.
Yeah.
And so if you ever go to a Flying Saucer, you find yourself around Christmas time, drink a St. Arnold's Christmas.
I got to
Ale
try.
or
I got to try.
It's a Christmas ale. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to try
Meanwhile,
everybody.
Josh is in chat just listing off the worst beers you can possibly buy.
Red Dog?
Or maybe he selected
That's
my
not a thing
3.
anymore.
No, my 3. It's It's the 3 that I currently, well, if I can
Fat
find
Tire,
them.
That's a quality beer.
I will go with the Karbach Blood Orange Radler. I will go with, if you can ever find it, the Shiner Strawberry Blonde, which is a fantastic beer. but they don't seem to put that out unless you got to buy the multi-pack.
It's in a seasonal 12-pack. It's not a 6-pack thing.
And the other one going a little bit more mainstream. I love me some just nice General Blue Moon with a nice slice of lemon or orange.
Orange.
Yeah, nice
Blue
orange.
Moon's up there for me with a nice orange. Yeah.
So those would be my 3. And I like talking about beer. We should do a beer podcast sometime with Adam. Maybe that's what we'll do with Adam. Instead of doing the video game
What beer
thing.
you drink when you play an RTS?
When you're playing a battle royale, what's the best drink for it?
Something that he made at his house that's in his...
Yeah, probably in the kegerator.
Sure.
All right, final question, and we got this one late. We got this one in the chat also from Josh. If you had to get rid of one from ever existing, would it be Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? And I assume that just means both of their entire series. So, if you're getting rid of one, which one do you not like as much as the other? For me, while you guys think, for me, I've always been a Street Fighter guy. I was a Street Fighter guy back on the SNES, and up until I kind of stopped playing fighting games, I liked Mortal Kombat, especially Mortal Kombat 2. But I was always a Street Fighter guy. So I would pick Mortal Kombat. As much as I would hate to do that, because the new Mortal Kombats look amazing. If I had to pick one, I think Mortal Kombat goes. Charlie?
Yeah, but the new Mortal Kombats look more amazinger.
Sure.
Gosh, that's so hard because...
Can we just get rid of Clay Fighter?
Clay Fighter is great. Street Fighter is pretty much like... That was the dawn of like fighting games and stuff like that. So It's really, really hard to get rid of something that is, the cornerstone of that particular genre. And then Mortal Kombat like upped the ante basically by like saying, hey, we're going to put some blood in this son of a bitch and make it a little more mature for the older audiences who wanted to play this game. Golly, I don't know.
I know it's hard.
The one I would get rid of is probably Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd hate to say that, but like there's just something about Mortal Kombat, the visceralness of
sure
the Street Fighter you play to a point and you got like ultimates and stuff like that, but like in Mortal Kombat you have like the finishing moves and like these brutalities and these brutal X-ray combos that they've added to like the newer I guess rebooted versions. And there's an actual there's a story behind Street Fighter. I mean, I don't know about the newer ones, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Mortal Kombat, since its reboot, like they've still continued on their lore that they've like. Yes,
they've done a very good job with the lore.
Written all the way back in 1. So
yeah,
even during those ones that were like those 3D. What were those games? That were like basically they were a 3-dimensional field.
Mm-hmm. Like Tekken.
You had those, like Tekken. Yeah. They had those Mortal Kombat games where they had their own storyline to it as well. So I would get rid of Street Fighter. And,
sure. Ryan, what about
Mortal Kombat?
Ryan, what about you?
I'm just gonna go with it because I can't really decide between the games, but the one that spawned a better movie gets to stay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
So Street Fighter is.
Yeah, I was actually going to say,
Street Fighter's out of here.
If you're counting the movies, Mortal Kombat is the vastly superior movie. So maybe we do get rid of Street
Annihilation Fighter. Was not that great.
Well, yeah. But is Annihilation better than Street Fighter, though?
Yes.
The Legend of Chun-Li. Yeah, I agree with you. It's got Raul Julia, man.
Yeah.
That was his last role.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought he did one of the Addams Family movies after.
No, he did Addams Family first, and I swear I read in an article that Street Fighter was his last role.
I think you're right, Charlie. I think it was the last one he filmed. Yeah, I mean, look, I think what we're also saying here is that in the rankings of fighting games, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat are 1 and 2 in some order, and then everything else is behind it. So that makes it difficult because it's like, Tekken versus Mortal Kombat. I mean, Mortal Kombat. Tekken is a fine series, but I mean, Mortal Kombat's, Virtua Fighter, every, you name the series.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive, which again, Dead or Alive, what's the Soul Calibur? Those are fine.
Primal Rage.
Well, maybe not so much. Clay Fighter.
Dude, I got into a Soul Calibur game. I don't remember how long ago it was because they did the console-specific added characters you could
that was
get. Where it's
3, I think.
Darth Vader was on one, but anyway,
Link was the SNES
Link
one.
was Nintendo.
Yoda.
Darth Vader was
Yoda was on one, and then Spawn was on another one.
Spawn. That's right.
Spawn. Spawn was Xbox. Yoda was PS whatever, the PlayStation 2, I guess. And then Link was on the GameCube. But they're both great series. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for the mailbag for this week. Thank you for all the questions as usual. Thank you, Smithy, for submitting for the first time. We appreciate it very much. And get your questions in for next week. And we'll probably answer it. We'll answer them all. But that's going to take us, ladies and gentlemen, to our final segment of the day. And the final segment of the day would be... And now it's time for Tuesday Night Scatter Shooting. Right here on the MC Gamescast, starring Charles Arzuela. Charlie, take it away, my friend.
I want to apologize for the topic I'm about to talk about, but I felt like I needed to say something about it. So, these moments are mostly reserved for something a little lighthearted and comical, but there are times where we have to pull back and take certain things into perspective. We play video games and have a great time doing it. Some of us even make their livelihood to do so. That is the ultimate American dream, to do what you love and never work a day in your life. Chadwick Boseman was one of these fortunate individuals who we lost over the past week. He acted as many significant characters, and from my understanding poured his heart and soul into each and every one because he loved every minute of it. Little did we know that as he portrayed Jackie Robinson fighting racial equality on the baseball diamond, Thurgood Marshall fighting racial equality in the courtroom, and King T'Challa fighting the ultimate battle in good and evil, he was also battling stage 3 colon cancer, which he was diagnosed in 2016, and in all while only people within the most tightest circles knew about it, not including his co-stars and comrades. As a comic book reader, Black Panther was not really on my radar as it should have been, but nothing could be more kingly than to battle in silence whilst comforting others who are in the same situation. He would visit St. Jude Hospital, where his fans there were also stricken by cancer and other diseases, with his mere presence and a bright smile on his face, as well as showing some of them who were terminal the movie prior to wide release. The idea that they got to see their hero in real life, in the flesh, both on screen and right in front of them before they ultimately succumb to the inevitable, is both a happy and sad one. But that's life, isn't it? Happy and sad, yin and yang. It ebbs and flows with joys and pain, with stressors and pressures all around us. It is what we do with what we have, with those we interact with, that matter the most. Yes, Boseman was an actor who played as the Black Panther, Jackie Robinson, James Brown, and Thurgood Marshall, names associated with the word hero. But Chadwick Boseman, the person, for what he endured since 2016 through his many acts of selflessness, is a legend to those looking for hope and happiness. And to close, I'll take a quote from one of my favorite movies. Remember, kid, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you'll never go wrong. Wakanda forever.
Yep. Rest in power, dude. Rest in power, Chadwick. Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Tuesday Night Scatter Shooting we'll see you next Tuesday right here on the MC Gamescast. Oh, man. Sorry about that, Charlie. Didn't realize that was going to be it. That was perfect. That was perfect.
I didn't know how to send that off, except that was like,
No,
I wanted to read that out.
Absolutely.
And it's something that's been on my mind. And,
No, that
like
was...
I said, I'm a Spider-Man fan through and through, but boy, with everything that's come out about him or whatever, I can't look at him and only just without awe.
No, that was perfect. He was an absolutely incredible person, obviously on screen, but he was about the best person that you could possibly imagine away from the big screen. And it's shocking that nobody knew, and it was shocking obviously because he's so young.
Yep.
But that was it was a very, very sad thing that came out. It was Friday that happened.
We found out during Marvel's on Stream.
Right before we went live on that. So that was, but yeah, thank you, Charlie. That was really, really nice. And on that note, that is going to do it for this episode of the Gamescast. It seems like Ryan is bored because he's on his phone. But yes,
doing a mock
thank you.
draft for this weekend.
That's right. We're doing mock drafts.
I was actually signing up for
but
league.
Yes, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us this week, Ryan. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. Charlie, I know we've been talking about getting you on and getting the guest get going, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you so much for joining us today. And Charlie, we will get our next guest probably here in the next 2-3 weeks. We'll figure out who that will be coming up. Charlie, you've got a stream coming up on Thursday. Have you decided yet what you're going to do? Are you going to continue on with the Walking Dead series, or are you going to be looking at something else?
I still want to do the Walking Dead series a little bit, but I think I'm going to throw in a little monkey wrench into the mix of things. I've been practicing a little bit. Again, like I said, after my showing a couple of weeks ago, after we ended the Walking Dead, I want to show my chops a little bit. I can play a little football.
Yes.
I haven't decided how I'm going to pick my team. And again, I'm referencing NCAA 2014, the last installment of the EA Classic. Don't know how I'm going to pick my team. I'm thinking I want to pick a team, obviously, that's not going to be playing. So it's more likely going to be in the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or Pac-16 or whatever they call it now. I've played as UNT so many times. Joe Shizzle in the chat wants me to play as UNT. I've done it several times. While I do want to bring something I don't want to be the best team, but at the same time, I don't want to bring a quality of game that is just, I'm not going to put down my alma mater, but, it is a bottom-tiered school. And it would take me a while to build up this school from the 3 stars, maybe 1 4-star on there. Because this is 2014. This is not the recent led team that was led by Coach Luttrell or whatever. So that has been to bowl games and won conference. Have they won conference championships?
No.
I mean, they've gotten close, but they've gotten to
not really.
Games. So they won the Dallas Bowl. I remember that, the Heart of Dallas Bowl.
Yeah.
That was fun, but I want to do something that
under Luttrell?
No, we lost that one hardcore.
Right. Stan McCarney won the one that we went to.
Arizona, that's an interesting one. I mean, I would definitely have a good running back on that team, but yeah. Okay. It's going to go down this Thursday, and I think I'm trying to bring it to you every Thursday, and then maybe if my schedule frees up a little bit, bring a little bit to you guys on the weekend as well, because I'd like to open up my streaming capabilities and viewing times as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully you can get that extra day in, and so we'll be watching on Thursday, and of course Sunday for you. I will be back on Friday after my little break. With a little bit of marbles on stream, and then of course we will be back next Tuesday for another edition of the podcast. Ryan, thank you again, sir. For Ryan Laster, Charles Arzuela, and Mitchell Barrett, this is the MC Gamescast. Have a great one. Okay,